Hi there and hello. And this is Sunday, the 29th of January. The title of this video is Let's Do It at Midnight, she said. Coffee time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know what that's a reference to in any way, shape, or form, but
I'm not familiar with that at all.
I'll leave that a mystery then.
All right.
Um, I'm just going to send a link to this to some people in Facebook, etc. So anyway, hello there to you, Mr. Voltaire, and I hope you're doing okay.
I can't complain. I hope you're doing well as too.
That was a very convincing response.
I don't like to complain.
Um,
But you're congested like you were, out dogging all night long.
no, unfortunately, nothing of that level of excitement has been going on here.
It's a shame.
So, I've not gained, I've not got a stuffy nose or had blocked ears or anything, which is the
Mm-hmm.
reality from that,
Yeah.
from dogging. So I don't. You bringing that into the equation is, I don't know, I just find it unsettling and insensitive.
Do
So I
the those
hope
people?
you apologise at some point about that.
I will not. But do you think that those doggers they take a break this time of year? Like it's pretty cold out there.
Well, it's been pretty cold. It's maybe getting a bit milder in the days, but not so much maybe in the
It's
nights.
January. We're going into the coldest months.
Well, February nearly. So
Yeah, that's what I
um,
mean. February is the coldest month, isn't it?
mm, I think I think they probably do. I don't think dogging is so much of an all year round thing
No.
for getting out there and kind of getting your bits out in the night
Yeah.
on a cold night, especially. I mean, because obviously there are certain results of the coldness, and you don't want to be sort of like standing around posing, saying, "Oh, check this
Hmm.
out," and then it's retreating into your body due to the cold.
That can happen. I understand.
It can. Well, I can tell you, it happens to me frequently
Hmm.
when that I have a certain mental problem which has its own results in terms of my trousers just dropping down. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Is it a
happened
mental problem?
outside. That actually happened in the town square on Christmas Eve
Okay. Right.
when people were singing carols and things. And
Hmm.
for many people, it ruined the entire experience.
It could
For
for
me,
some.
it actually added to it.
Hmm. Especially you had a
Mm,
piece of mistletoe very cleverly tied to your sack.
it
So
made
you
it more
could,
spiritual.
you know.
So yeah, there was that, but that was just something that I do anyway, and
Hmm.
yeah, it's
Hello,
not
Charlotte.
something.
Hello, Dallas. Welcome.
I actually wanted to put you in charge of the chat, but I think I need to ask you your email for that.
I just use my Facebook login for this shit, so I don't know how to do
You
that.
don't want to do it, do you?
No, I'd
Or
love
do you
to.
not want to give me your email?
If but I have to create an account with Streamyard with that email, right?
No, you just use the same one that you use to log in.
I use Facebook to log in.
Oh,
Get it?
all right.
I don't use an
All right,
email.
we don't need to talk about all that right now. That's something
I
we'll
would like
sort
to
out.
take over the chat because I feel like you mismanage it terribly. You know.
Um, don't know. I don't know why you would think that because I click on everything that's in there pretty much. And
Yeah, sometimes hours later, you have to interact with your viewers to make them be seen and feel
well, you can do
important.
that better than me probably
Right.
because I'm somewhat jaded
Yeah, indeed.
due to
Indeed.
the fact that I've been doing this for some while and
Right.
the
Well, la
nature
di
of some of
da.
the comments on there. I feel like some of the comments in there have done me wrong.
Like so far, we have Charlotte, who's a new person to join here, and Dallas, who hasn't been here for a while. Welcome back, Dallas. You know, you should be acknowledging these people. These are your fans.
Hello there to Charlotte, and how are you doing? I mean, I have spoken obviously to Charlotte quite a bit already online,
Mm-hmm.
and she says she messaged you as well, and she said you seemed good as well. So I corrected her on that and said that he's not.
I'm not good at all.
Don't trust him. Because I just thought, yes, okay. You mean it's gone good so far with him? Just wait
Oh, what does that mean?
till it goes wrong.
I've been falsely accused one time of doing something inappropriately on Facebook or through chats, and there was never any substantiation to that. So I stand by it that it was all a big make-up story. It's created.
Well,
in
I
a fit
can't
of
remember you
anger.
being accused of anything.
Yeah, you remember that newsletter, that infamous newsletter from a few years ago?
What newsletter?
You know the newsletter.
Um,
The one that was produced when you were feuding with Cameron and all that kind of thing.
you mean Cannon's own WordPress article, sort of thing?
Whatever it was.
I can't remember what you were accused of in that.
I was accused of apparently allegedly talking to a friend of his and being inappropriate with her. And I asked him to produce
Well, I mean,
who it
yeah.
could be, and he wouldn't. And I reached out to every person who we would have mutual acquaintance of, and nobody acknowledged anything. So I stand by that. That was a false accusation.
Well, I've been certainly, I wouldn't even say accused, but described as having done certain things with people that Cameron was in touch with, connected closely to the Twin Peaks fan world, and they were not even accusations; they were just solid statements of things I'd done, i.e., send dick pics.
You need
Which
to be careful now. You,
I actually did do that. I will say, because
right, sure.
I thought that this is the way that people would
Solicited,
like
though,
me in the
right?
Twin Peaks.
They were
You
solicited.
mean yes?
Okay,
I asked,
not unsolicited dick pics. That's
but
inappropriate.
this is the kind of thing that David Lynch likes.
He does,
He
and
said, "Yes, please."
he would be doing that if he was good with the computers. Maybe he has what's her name, Sabrina Cohen. Sabrina, I want to do a dick pic. Get over here. Let's put one out there. I want to send it over to Catherine Colson. Anyway.
What, you mean when she was alive?
Yes, correct. This is in the past tense. So, you have to be careful out there. You're a bit of a celebrity, and time's up lately. You've heard what happened with that Andrew Callahan fella, and my God, and now Jared Leto's being accused of all sorts of things. So, you shouldn't be mixing with your fans in that way, or you should do it very carefully. Keep a paper trail, have receipts, as the kids say. Keep
Yeah, I
receipts.
think. Well, anyway, I mean, in terms of that Andrew Callahan and his whole Channel 5 thing, it's a shame if this is actually going to mean that he won't carry on doing anything, because
he's finished. His career's over.
Because he was actually really good, at what he was doing.
Well, he had that was a big deal, that documentary he got on HBO, and people were loving it and all that kind of thing. Did you watch that documentary on HBO?
No.
Or I don't know, whatever service it would be on here. And it was like a January 6th documentary. Just him doing his usual stuff, but all around the events of that January 6th thing. And that was probably the pinnacle of his career so far. And now this stuff comes out, so I have a feeling he's finished.
Well, that's a shame if that's the case. But, I mean, bearing in mind the kind of things that he was accused of are just more behavioral problems, and related to drinking too much, and just, I mean, he himself admitted it, that he was sort of, if he got brushed back or sort of not interested from a female, he would actually see that as like, I've got to kind of persevere with this for the entire night, which seems.
But in fairness to him, the girl did say that she consented. Let's not. I don't want to. I don't want to besmirch the man more than he's already besmirched. I have no personal feelings towards him one way or another. I think some of his work is okay. I think some of it's not good at all. But
Wait, why? What do you mean? What parts were not good?
some of it slants towards the propaganda side of things. You know what I mean? Which is fine. He did that for his career, and he was moving things towards a certain direction, which is fine.
But
Otherwise,
you liked him going to the porn convention, didn't you?
I liked him going somewhere and just neutrally making fun of people, and not only making fun of one type of people. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. But he wanted to move his career in a different direction, and whatever. And also, to be fair, one of the girls who accused him, right when the documentary came out, she asked him to Venmo her money before she went public. So, whatever. He's either way. He's apologized, which I wouldn't have recommended to him as his attorney. But he didn't seek counsel from me. These things happen. Now, Jared Leto is a much worse case, actually, what's coming out about him, but it's not nearly as substantiated, so we don't know.
Okay. Well, I don't know anything about. I don't know anything about Jared Leto and his whole affairs, but
Okay, I'm
obviously,
just saying you as a celebrity should be careful. Okay, that's all I'm warning you.
well, I mean, what would you say if I replied to that with, first of all, a great degree of surprise at being described as a celebrity, because I certainly don't see myself as that. I see myself
You
as
do.
more of like, man of the people, perhaps.
No, that's me.
And
I'm the man of the people. I'm the clarion of the people, the Tribune. You, on the other hand, you suffer from main character syndrome, and you are a celebrity. So you take that on board, and you act that way.
well, I think I naturally command center stage due to my just the general impression I give, which is one of a leading man, I think.
Absolutely, no question.
So, but on the other hand, that doesn't mean that I've got to behave any which way, but loose. It's
That's really clever.
with the
Wow.
fans, etc. I don't think that. Obviously, I should treat them as human beings, just the same as myself. And I think for a long time, I saw the fans and people who, were into Bring Back Twin Peaks and that kind of thing, which I was involved with, as essentially playthings,
Oh boy,
And
this is the kind of problem we're talking about here.
yeah, and I would be just like, can I check out that ass? That kind of comment to them in Facebook or wherever,
Right.
and this would respond with, hey, maybe I'll take you a pig later, honey. And
Right. So somebody
that was
someone
that was from a woman, by the way, not a man. And
someone asked you to see that ass, or you asked the woman to see that ass.
no, I was just more curious, as in, I am someone who likes ass. What's yours like? That kind of a question. In amidst all of the kind of, the talk about Twin Peaks and theory and things, that would just pop up occasionally, like as a sort of, just light relief, really. Can I check the ass?
Okay. In the right context, that can be a legitimate request. But if somebody screenshotted that and just sent it, say, "Look what he sent me."
Yeah, but the thing is, you were actually very much an influence for me because of your comments that you would often make to Krista Bell, where you would be commenting about her ass.
In a complimentary fashion.
So I actually thought that this is okay.
So you see, the difference is this, right? So she would post a picture featuring her ass, right? And I would respond to that picture. Do you see the difference? I would not be soliciting pictures of her ass. You see, there's a very fine distinction there, but if you really look into it and study it, you'll see it eventually.
Well, let me tell you, I was studying it, aka the ass.
Well, so was David Lynch, obviously. Um, but
But not just Christabel's.
no,
I had probably at least 1,000 asses on speed dial.
that's a lot.
Yeah, and I didn't even actually view them as people. I just viewed them as asses,
Okay,
which
okay.
is I
Well, now
would put
you're.
ass 001, ass 002, ass
Yeah, I know. I know
007,
you're
and
kidding, but some people who don't know might think that this is true, and you just view, human beings as asses, and that's not appropriate. Um,
no, I view them as more than obviously an ass. I like them when they're wearing sort of like jeans, hot pants.
yeah,
So that's not just an ass, is it?
I suppose so. Speaking of which, have you spoken to Josh at all lately? I know he pipes up now and again in the chat, that kind of thing. Have you actually had a conversation with the man?
Uh, only a few, comments here and there in a PM or whatever you call it, direct message
Mm-hmm.
about. We actually mentioned. I said, did you see this Rob Ager video about Arthur C. Clarke?
Well, he produced a video comparing Lynch and what's his name? What's the individual's name? God, how can I forget Kubrick? I mean, Ben is for some reason asking me to tell you to send him the link instead of you just sending it to him.
Okay.
Are you ignoring his messages? Is that what's happening?
No, of course I'm not. Can you stop making me into some kind of, protagonist of the exploits of Wooly? It's just.
I like that ass plates. That's really good. There you go.
I'm just sending you a link, Ben. Don't worry.
Oh, I need my volume turned up. Isn't that something? Thank you, Jamie, for telling him. For some reason, there's an individual here who enjoys turning my volume
Can't
down.
you turn it up yourself?
I got it maxed out. Okay, this is on your end. You've turned down my volume.
This is bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought you didn't sound very high, but then again,
That's
one of
how
my
you like
ears,
it.
my ears is blocked up
That's how you like it.
somehow.
You try to silence me.
Not at all. The opposite, in fact.
And then the result is bad audio. People trying to enjoy the show like Jamie and think, she's got it rough enough. It's late January in Buffalo. Can you imagine the weather for her right now? Oppressive. And then she has to suffer
I'm not in
through
Buffalo,
poor
so I
audio.
can't really imagine it that well.
I've lived in those conditions, and it can be very trying on the spirit.
Your mic volume is nearly at the top.
Is that right? I wonder what's going on then.
It's just it's something to do with how you've got it set up.
Huh. Well, if you have at the top, that is interesting to me. And it's not like I've got a shit mic. That's interesting. Anyway, I'll try to talk right up on it.
You're louder now, definitely. Oh,
yeah. Well, because I'm trying to talk right up on it. I'll do that for the people.
you don't need to put that much up on it.
How about like this? Is that better
That's
for you?
No, it's too close now.
You don't like that?
That sounds like you're going to do something in a minute.
Okay, I'll try to figure out a good distance. Oh wow, something happened. Now you changed my volume. It got louder for me in my headphones. Wow. Oh, there he is. Back in our time zone, our timeline. Sorry.
I hope the sound is better for anyone who's listening now, anyway.
And I'll try to talk up on the mic anyway, and hopefully that'll help.
Put that loud next to it. It sounds
okay, well, see, I think you've turned it up now. I think you've done something. You did something.
Well, if it's doing anything, it's just StreamYard being a pain in the arse because it's not making any sense, really.
Yeah, I don't know when YouTube is just going to put out their own thing. They keep saying they're going to, and it's Google, it's just amazing to me that they're allowing a third-party company to be used for their stream.
No, you can do videos on YouTube for free, but it only lets you put up one camera. So
Yeah, your own. Now you can't join people like you used to be able to. Remember how easy it was? You just put up that Google Hangouts and bam, you were just on, and it was terrific.
yeah, it was generally good, but I mean, it may by this standard, it might not be as professional as this, but
Well, you couldn't screen share either, but they could add that in. I mean, whatever. I mean, it's just the things Google focuses on.
probably connected to Jared Leto. I don't know.
They've been obscuring search results lately.
Well, that's not really lately. I think that's been going on.
What's the point of that? I mean,
Is that a Fight Club picture behind you? I've never noticed that before, Mandela Man. Is that Tyler Durden behind you?
Sure is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a whole gang. Okay. And Marla, and Pitt, Norton, Jared Leto.
All right, good. So, is there any hot topics on your mind, Mandela?
No, should there be?
No, I'm asking. It's fine. You don't have to.
I just went through Willow.
Oh, you actually watched it?
Yeah.
And?
I feel like it would have been more tolerable if they would have stuck to dialect from that mythical time period, let's say.
What do you mean? They're speaking in modern tones, that kind of thing?
Yes.
Huh. Interesting choice.
They talk like modern day teenagers a lot of times. It takes you out of it,
Yeah, I've noticed that lately in a lot of fantasy shows, and I guess that's a thing for the audience. I just don't think it's wise to do, but whatever.
It works a little better in Wednesday because it is modern times.
Well, yeah, Wednesday's fine.
You're a little loud now, Volta.
Yeah, I moved away from the mic. Okay.
Where they actually
try and keep it immediate, average. We don't need you shouting in our ears, thanks.
All right. Yeah, I'll try not to.
Like,
is that good? Is this the level you want?
Yeah, that's fine, but just try and keep it, so that it doesn't sound like you're coming on to me.
Okay. I'll do my best.
I heard they're
incessantly.
I heard they're canceling one of my favorite shows.
What's that?
Doom Patrol.
Yeah. Are they? Well, I mean,
yeah, it's one of the few woke shows that actually works as a woke show.
I watched a few episodes. I couldn't get into it.
That and Euphoria are kind of the high bar standard of writing when it comes to wokeism. In my mind.
I don't. Is Euphoria woke, or is it just that's a genre, that show and the topics they discover are naturally into that progressive sphere? I mean, I don't think calling it woke is the right term for that show. Woke to me implies they're trying to shoehorn something in. Euphoria is what it is. It's a show about those topics, so it just is. Oh my goodness, they've taken them down. Google. Oh, he's back.
Wait, I'll be right back.
You're back. Uh-oh. Did you do that, or did he do that?
What? What's happening? I was looking at the screen.
He's disappeared.
Oh.
He was in the midst of talking about Euphoria.
No, he's going on it. He's just doing it himself because he's talking to one of his relatives or something. I think.
I see. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think this whole woke sort of labeling of things is just a bit of a no-brainer type of nonsense. I mean, there's always going to be shows like that. For instance, Euphoria. I mean, it's nothing that new compared to, say, 30 years ago. There were shows like My So-Called Life or Degrassi Junior High. Like they had these, would have gay characters or whatever. Now, what's the difference? They've got more drugs in them. they've got more gangster stuff, and they've got
Mm.
more transgenderism. You know, there's one transgender character in. I mean, if there were 5 transgender characters in Euphoria, maybe I might understand somebody calling it woke. Sorry, not
Yoke. You're yoked, brother.
I just think anyway. It's
Well, no,
just
I've had
like-
this discussion. I've had this discussion with Mandela, man. He when you call everything woke, then nothing is woke. You know what I mean? And to call Euphoria woke doesn't even make sense. The show is about certain topics that are naturally in that sphere. Oh, he's
Don't
appeared.
worry, Josh. Ben's planning to get a proper like setup in about 2030. So you've got that to look forward to.
He's gonna start a GoFundMe on it.
Well, I'm actually going to do a GoFundMe today for my blocked ear and for having had a bit of like a cold and everything. So just to try and pull me through. And
Wah.
no, but if people could probably raise about £2,000 for me, I think it would help massively.
I think so. That would help.
So maybe be a bit more sympathetic.
You could go down to the drugstore and buy that stuff that gets the wax out of your ears.
Well, actually,
Softens
I've
it
got
up.
2 different kinds, but it's not really going to do a great deal of difference. It's more to do with just. I think I need one of those mini plungers like you put down your sink.
I wish. That would be great. That would be great for you to use on camera.
Yoke. Yeah, there's too much yoke, sort of like filmmaking and excessive TV.
Are you trying to say that that's the regular shenanigans that people get up to in high school, kind of thing?
What, as in Euphoria?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't know. None of us are high school students.
Not
now.
within that small a group of people. But bear in mind, like even like there's the girl in it. She does her own. She's the one who's a bit heavier, and she wants to be like.
Oh, that's complete bullshit. Yeah.
She decides like I'm going to go on cameras and like make these men like my doggies, and
Yeah, that's
they're
the thing.
gonna-
I wonder. Sorry to cut you off.
they've written her out. They've written her out of the 3rd season.
Oh, have they?
She says it's like they've done it deliberately for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, that's not very woke, is it?
I wonder
She's
if
one
they
of the
wrote
few
it out.
heavy set members, and they just go, "No, you're not in it anymore. Forget it."
There you go.
But
There
You
you
need
go.
to focus more on Jules, I think.
So I wonder after watching that first season, how many girls thought, "Oh wow, I can make money on OnlyFans and not have to get naked and just tell guys you're a piece of shit. Send me money. You're a pay pig or whatever they call them. that findom stuff." How many girls think, "Oh, I could make money doing that. All I'd have to do is put on a bikini. I wouldn't have to get naked, and I could just cuss these middle-aged losers out."
no, I think for her in her situation and everything that she was in, it probably does happen sometimes. It's not. I don't think it's like every girl who might be a bit more chunky and like not popular at school does that, obviously. But
No.
there's going to
just
be a
that-
few who do.
So to think that that's a viable thing, and she sort of stumbled onto it, and she became very successful at it. How many men are actually like that? You know what I
But
mean?
what was she doing it on? Was it on Twitch or?
Whatever, OnlyFans or something. They
OnlyFans,
never. I don't
right.
think. Yeah, it was supposed to be like an OnlyFans type of platform. I don't think.
Well,
they
we had an
specified.
OnlyFans woman on here, remember? So
We did.
that was an absolutely great, very successful.
Well, I think it is
video.
interesting. I mean, I would have liked to have asked her some more questions about her business, but I'm curious what it's like to.
What? You would ask her about a business?
Yeah, the business model.
What?
I mean, how do you
Business of what?
make money? How do you of being an OnlyFans model?
You go online and would sit in a pool whilst live.
I think she was supplementing her income doing other things. Probably she can't make a living. I don't know that. I don't know. I'm curious. I mean, I imagine some women do make money off
Well,
of
we
that.
do.
but-
We know that she used to work for Disney, and obviously this immediately linked in with Ben being born at Disney. Oh, not born. He was actually conceived there. So
Yeah, Mandela asked her for an in at the corporate level so he could get in there, get in with the executives because
that's
she
still forthcoming, I think. To be honest,
because she had access to those people.
any day now.
They're
I think she was probably sacked anyway.
they're looking
coming
for
up.
they're looking for a CEO to take over. they're kind of clueless. You know, the stock hasn't been this low since 1974.
All stocks have been slow lately. It doesn't count.
No, Josh, we're not talking about Jeannie. She's from Liverpool, remember, and she lived in Essex. We're talking about
Josh, what are you on about? You saw we had an OnlyFans girl, and you joined the show for the first time in months. When you saw we had it you came on that show.
yeah. If he hears there's any new females on the show or anyone like that, he will immediately just appear.
He's like, "Oi, look at that bed! Here I come." Hello, love.
Because of the pure low quality of females in the Lancaster area.
I'm Josh from Blackpool.
Not
How
like
are
in
you?
Derby, where it's top class, 10 out of 10.
Look at these fingers. I could play the guitar. I could make miniatures. Imagine what I could do to you. To your flange.
To you, what?
That's Josh. As soon as he sees a
I
broad.
don't think he said anything like that.
Well, he was implying it with his eyes.
No, that's bullshit now. I mean, Josh is a very sensitive empath.
Yeah, see, look at this. I try to keep the ladies on your side. You need my charms. Well, you know, it's true. The ladies do like him. I mean, that's difficult to dispute. I won't dispute that. So,
What? So you're saying, like, by the kind of thing that Cameron has discussed, you try and keep the ladies on side by appearing on videos showing your lily white ass cheeks,
just one of his
which
moves.
Cameron actually did a screen capture of.
He did.
I don't know why, but I mean, I don't often make screen captures of men's asses, but
You tributed that screen cap. What are you talking about?
no, I'm not. I'm not into it. I'm not. I don't like seeing men's asses. In fact, if there's ever a men's ass in front of me, I avert my gaze.
A men's ass. Okay,
Or man's ass.
that's better. Okay,
Or a
so
group of men's asses is what I mean. So that can happen sometimes. Say if you go to a dogging, you know.
mhm.
I'd
meeting.
like to show you guys a trailer and make a point about Disney, if I could.
All right.
So I
Yeah,
brought
look. Seeing what this is Charlotte, aka Ashton. She's gone now deliberately because of you know, Josh's just terrible behaviour. So I hope you're happy, Josh. Thanks.
He is. He is. He's beaming.
Can you guys?
Yeah, I don't love men's asses, Jamie. I like women's.
Mm,
I just want to make that clear.
do you?
Yeah, I've just told you. Why don't you believe it?
What's the
Anyway,
trailer? What's the trailer, Mandela man? What is it?
Can you look up the trailer for Hello Tomorrow?
Hello, tomorrow.
Yeah. So for a long time, I've been bringing up Apple
That's
Plus.
an Apple TV. That's not a Disney.
Oh, okay, here's my point. For a long time, I've been bringing up Apple Plus's For All Mankind show, kind of, you know, telling the viewers to watch that. That show is kind of like if you ever went to like Epcot, the old Epcot, and all the scientific,
I went there as a child.
all the scientific futurism that Walt Disney was about, like going to space and stuff like that. Apple Plus actually made a show For All Mankind that's more like an Epcot show than any Disney show that exists, right? So now I see this trailer for this new
Well, this is a good opening shot on the trailer. Go ahead and share the screen, James.
Yeah, well, watch this trailer, and basically what I'm saying is now they're gonna have a Tomorrowland show, and they're gonna beat Disney at their own game and eat their lunch.
So
Because
is this a
Disney-
real shot or is this a computer generated?
That's a
Is
good
this-
question.
This looks pretty good.
Looks pretty good.
Some of it's probably got some meddling with it, like on the sign and in the distance and stuff. But those 4 cars, I mean, those
Oh,
are
they're
all
flying
probably real,
cars. Of
aren't
course,
they?
yeah. This is a flying car. Look at there's no wheels.
So,
So of
so
course
here's,
it's CGI.
so,
Okay.
so here's the problem, Voltaire. Yeah, all stocks are down. Generally, stocks are down, but Disney's leaving like money on the table. They have a streaming service, and they're afraid to make they're either afraid to make shows like about their own intellectual properties, or they're too lazy, or they haven't thought about it. But hey, look, watch this and tell me this is not totally like oh, Apple Plus is going to make a Tomorrowland show.
Not a dreamer. It's not in a world like this where you can have it all. We live with miracles at our fingertips. We got robots taking out the trash. We fly to the stars. And that's what I want for you and your families. That's the dream you all deserve. Soon you folks will be saying, wow, I love living on the moon. Remember, we're not just selling, we're changing lives.
Congratulations on your new home in the stars.
I've been thinking about moving up there. The moon might be nice.
What about all them aliens?
Well, there's no such thing.
What is this? What's going on? Did we do something wrong?
I'm gonna tell him soon. What do you think I am?
I know what you are. You're gonna rip him away from everything decent.
Everyone else plays fast and loose. Why can't we?
What?
The music can't stop.
There's Apple eating
Better tomorrow.
take a Disney's money.
Well, this is very much a movie about Tomorrowland. I'll give you that.
I want the truth.
What are we selling here?
I can't fix our problems.
We'll find a way. You and me.
There are some things you should know about Jack.
And your brighter tomorrow doesn't start when you land on the moon. It starts today.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Even the title is like, hello,
yeah.
hello McFly, hello Disney, hello tomorrow. Why haven't you done the show yet? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
really, the Dome
it-
City. I mean, that's like straight out of the archives of Walt himself. You know,
That is interesting. That is very much the whole Tomorrowland theme, taking that like 50s vibe with the future stuff. It's
Yeah.
very much. Well, Apple TV's mostly been shit.
They made a film of Tomorrowland, didn't they? But
I think
Did
they're
they?
the
with
finest
George
dream
Clooney.
going. You know, to be honest.
George
no one
Clooney
went to see it.
Tomorrowland? Really?
Hmm.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, and funnily enough, Josh is saying not to be confused with GC. Obviously,
he's
referring to
confirmed.
George Clooney. So
No. Oh, there you are.
Mandela Man gives it 2 thumbs up.
I mean, it looks quite aimed at adults. That does. It's not really like aiming at 12-year-olds, is it? So
Not at all.
that I mean, I'm saying that's a good thing.
But in our day and age, we have like this whole internet culture, which are like grown kids that are 40 years old that are still into all this intellectual property. And my point is that they keep acquiring new properties like Marvel and Star Wars, but like neglecting like their original properties, which people all over the world would kill to work for or with or license.
Mm.
And you could license.
We're no difference with our attachment to to Twin Peaks, for instance. I mean, just because Twin Peaks isn't regarded in the same, it's not. I don't see it as true in any sense, really. Like that, one is viewed as more kind of so high-minded than say Star Wars. It's
James, do you know?
there's different levels to everything, aren't there? So,
I know Iger canceled Twin Peaks. Was he the one who originally greenlit it as well?
yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm. It's a double edged.
And then he was part of Showtime when it came back.
Was he? Interesting. I didn't know that last part.
I believe so, but
Mhm.
regardless, anyway, it's a whole different situation, isn't it?
How so?
Well, I mean, a Showtime is not comparable to Showtime is a subscription service, whereas ABC
Mm-hmm.
is a like a public television
Major network, yeah.
that was. I mean, yeah, it was paid for by commercials, right? But so yeah,
I feel like
I don't know. I might be wrong about Iger, or
Rob Ager, what are you on about?
I meant Bob Iger, not Rob. He's now chief executive officer of Disney. So
He came back. They fired Chapek and brought him back, which was a very interesting move.
Let me
which
just check.
is consistent with Mandela Man's theory that Disney is doing poorly and not doing well. For them to fire a CEO like that quickly and bring back a former CEO who wasn't doing all that great anyway.
The board wants him to find an individual and train that individual to take over in the next 2 years.
All the stuff that you say is wrong with Disney now was started by him. So I don't know why bringing him back is a celebration in any way.
It's not.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm talking.
He's the one you got to convince to.
I'm confusing Bob Iger with
become the CEO trainee.
The other guy who was at Showtime, the one who said that it was pure 100% heroin.
Oh, right.
Is that Bob Nevins or somebody?
I can't remember. I don't remember. Okay.
Well, what are you doing there anyway? Are you eating like?
Yeah, you eat sometimes. I see you.
Oh,
eat.
Oh, I don't. Come on.
Oh boy.
We don't. We normally leave any kicking off until the end of the show, not the start or the middle. Well, just because I'm asking doesn't mean I'm being accusatory.
No, he heard that tone in your voice.
Sometimes.
What are you eating?
Boy,
roast beef sandwich.
I can eat whatever I like. All right.
Doritos.
Yeah.
All
right, so let's see. Second here. It is that time of year where the mostly irrelevant Oscars nominate their people. So I thought we would take a look at those nominations. Hello, Gary.
Before you go into those, and now that you brought that up, I saw the craziest shit the other day.
All right, go ahead.
That for the Razzies, that Blonde is supposed.
Okay, well we'll go through the Razzies after we go through the Oscars. I have that prepared too. So just go with the flow. Get it?
Okay.
For fuck's sake, people. I try to prepare things. No, I'm just kidding. But yes, I do have those as well.
When you say you're just kidding, I take that as being you're not kidding. You actually are angry.
No. But
no, you are.
Give me credit as a presenter that if I'm going to talk about a topic, I'm going to, but Mandela Man doesn't know that. So doesn't know my excellence, the high level of excellence I operate at. Go ahead and put my screen up for fuck's sake, would you?
Sorry, I didn't realize it was you wanted me to.
Bloody hell! Okay. So these are the
2023. Sometimes I'm a bit slow at putting it up.
Is that right? Okay, so these are the 2023 Oscars. Now, the rule is they have to nominate 5 films, can nominate up to 10. This year they blew it all 10. They nominated 10 fucking films, if you can believe it.
That's how good the films are this year.
I suppose. And the Oscar films, the nominations the last few years have been just pure shit movies nobody watches. But let's see if it's improved at all. Number 1 nominee in no particular order. All Quiet on the Western Front, a World War I German film, I believe. Yes, Malte Grunert. Yeah. What'd you say, Mandela?
It was a pretty good movie, actually.
I've been meaning to watch it.
Yeah,
I'll get around to that. Have you seen this film, James? I know you don't like glorifying war. You don't like war films.
If there's any poppies in the film, I will not watch it on principle.
Fair enough.
Because of the unfair usage of poppies to try and signify some kind of hope.
I always found that to be the strangest thing about the British people, that they wear these poppies to like.
Oh, the Canadians adopted it too because they're fucking pathetic and they just copy the Americans or
Yeah,
copy
well,
the British.
we put them on lampposts. Okay, that's what gets me. I have to spend days going around tearing them off of lampposts.
I think it's a nice tribute. Now, Mandela, had you seen 1917 Mandela, the movie that was out a few years ago?
I believe so.
The World War I film. What do you mean you believe so? It's either yes or no.
That Christopher Nolan one?
No, fuck, that's a terrible film. That's an overrated piece of shit.
Sam Mendes
And,
was it.
and it's a World War II film, that one you're thinking about with Christopher Nolan. Okay, well, you should check that out. But I've heard that this is even better than that film, and I loved 1917. Easily the best World War I film I've ever seen. But there's not that many World War I films. It's the less sexy of the world wars, so less films are made about it. At least in recent, last 30, 40 years.
There's probably been a lot of World War One films. I'm sure.
Have there? Can you name some?
No, but I'm not just saying. I bet there are though. I'll look them up.
All right.
In America, in grade school, we seem to kind of skip over World War One.
Right. It's less sexy.
Everything before that and everything, after that, but never cover that.
It's not nearly as sexy a war.
What's he saying? Pictures of Jews lying in heaps, like
Oi.
dead bodies. That's sexy.
No,
There's got to be
the antagonist is sexier. You got the Axis powers versus the Allies.
So you're saying
forces.
Schindler's List is sexy?
No,
You
I've not,
sick
I haven't seen the film.
No, but there's got to be more World War II movies than about any other subject, or genre.
I mean, it was an evil character with a clear expansionist plan going through, whereas World War I started because of some.
Paths of Glory by Kubrick was World War One, which I have not even seen.
Countless movies like that.
Yeah, Gary, I've heard that this is significantly more violent than 1917.
Paths of Glory is pretty awesome. You really need to see that.
All right, okay. Well, that's the first nomination. Let's go to the next one. Avatar: Way of Water by James Cameron.
Get the fuck out of here.
That must just get like an immediate nomination or something.
I think you're right.
Because of the sheer amount of money and everything that was put into it.
I mean, James Cameron is talented. I mean, I won't take that away from him. But I do feel like he's wasting his talents doing shit like Avatar and these fucking blue fuckers flying around,
And if it's like visual effects award, I could see that, but
all right.
Not screenplay.
The new one has still gone past the 2 billion.
Well, yeah, people like the movie. You can't dispute that. People go see these movies and people like them.
Seems to be just a license to print money. These films. I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, it's not like James Cameron is shitting out film after film. I mean, he really likes
12 years or something.
Yeah, he likes making these films. I mean, all right. And next we have Josh's favorite film of the year. The Banshees of Inisherin.
Still haven't seen it.
Did he actually say he liked it?
He said he loved it.
Yeah. I heard good things.
It's watchable, as I've said, and it is unique. I'll give it that. I agree, Phantom. It's a bit baffling.
Not saying town right, I guarantee it.
So, what's that?
Is that how it's pronounced?
Inisherin, James. How do you pronounce this obscure little Irish town?
I don't know how you say it. I don't know.
Inisherin.
It doesn't really.
Hearing?
I don't even know how the Irish pronounce that name. The Siobhan or Siobhan or what is that? The Irish name for woman? Siobahn.
Is that so?
Oh, like Sean or something.
No, it's a female name. Anyway, whatever. They're Irish. What do you want from these people? So it's a 1920s. I'll give you guys a rundown. It takes place in the 1920s, of a small little Irish town, separated from the greater Irish Civil War that is going on at the same time, concurrently in the backdrop, and it's used as an allegory. This relationship between these two men who are friends is used as an allegory to a civil war, and if you're expecting some fun movie, dark comedy, whatever you want to call it, like In Bruges, it's not that, but good performances. I cannot say that the actors were not good in it, and I will say that it's written well. It's a tough movie to recommend because it's a bit of a slog. It's not particularly whatever. I mean, film
Like-
buffs, like pretentious film buffs, will love it, but I also liked it. So
like a sleeper kind of thing.
yeah, it's not something I have a hard time recommending it, but I liked it. I didn't love it like Josh, but I'm not pretentious like Josh. Josh maybe thought it was mediocre, but said he loved it because this is the kind of thing he would say to make himself seem high-minded.
Oh,
But it's watchable,
No,
certainly.
he just says it because often he says to me when he's in Morecambe, he'll go in Peacocks and then start just talking to people in Peacocks about a film like that.
Well, I don't know what
saying,
Peacock says. We don't know what that
It's
is.
like it's sort of like affordable clothes, not necessarily anything too bad, but not the best.
Yeah, I get
clothes.
it. I get it.
It's a hit or miss.
Budget.
Yeah.
Stylish clothes. I get
Because
it.
when he met Matt Berry, he actually said, "Can you tell me your tailor, please, Josh?" And he said, "Yes, I go to Peacocks in Morecambe."
Yes.
Well, I'll have to try them.
That's a good name for a men's shop, actually. Peacock, because that whole term peacocking. Yes, Phantom Cooper. I have seen Killing of a Sacred Deer, and I love that film. It's a very good film.
It's not a sacred deer like an old deer.
It is
Like
the
an
name of
old-
that.
an old
That is the
lady.
name of the film.
No, DEER.
No, it's not. Oh, yeah. So you're right. Sorry. Yes.
You're
Sacred
making
Deer.
it sound like a spin-off of one of that
Not a-
Are You Being Served or something.
Dan Peak, don't jump ahead of the list. You can speak about Banshees and you can speak about All Quiet on the Western Front, but you stay off of the Fablemans.
Now you're trying to stop me from going ahead with. I'm trying to keep up with the chat and everything.
No, but I mean, Dan should know better than that. I mean, come on. All right, so that's
I
that.
don't even know what Bones and All is.
What would you wait? We're going through the fucking list one by one. Get it? All right, now this is James, one of James's
Sorry.
favorite movies of 2022, Elvis. And I know you want Tom Hanks to win Best Supporting Actor for that amazing accent he does through the whole movie.
that's one of those.
It grinds on your fucking brain, and I couldn't take it anymore.
It's all right.
It's a pretty good film to see on if you've got a good cinema to see it on. Other than that, it's all just sort of sensation and spectacle.
This Baz Luhrmann, he's English, right?
No, he's Australian, I think.
Okay. Have you heard that he's maintained the Elvis accent like in his regular life now? And he says that he got so into character that he's like Madonna. Remember Madonna picked up a faux
Baz
English
Luhrmann's
accent?
the director. You mean
the actor who played Elvis. What was his name?
The female to male
Actually,
gender that played Elvis.
I don't know what his name is.
What? That's a woman? That's an FTM?
Well, did you catch him on Saturday Night Live? Because they're
What's his name?
they're flaunting it on there.
What are you on about? What was the name of the actor who played Elvis, for fuck's sake?
Check out his appearance on SNL this year.
Patrick McCormick. Is that him?
No.
He comes out with women's
Oh,
shoulder.
yeah, you're right. That's one of the producers. Isn't
Austin Butler.
it? Austin Butler. He's English, right?
No.
He's Australian?
Very American.
Is he? Oh, at least I
You
got
listen
an
to his
American.
actual accent.
Okay.
He's born in
Well-
Anaheim, California.
Oh, that's local to me. He talks like Elvis with that, and apparently he's done it like how Madonna has a faux English accent. Like he's just like, according to him, that's how he speaks now.
So on the SNL performance, they
Yeah.
had him sing an Elvis song to Cecily Strong at the end, and she was acting like she saw like Elvis himself possess the boy and sing directly to her. Like,
Why are you watching? I can't imagine that you still watch Saturday Night Live. I mean, it must anger you endlessly.
Something to watch with my grandma while she's falling.
Okay.
Keeping up on the propaganda,
And traditions and all that. Okay. This is a movie I have not seen, but I really do want to see, and I intend to see it. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Still
Have you
haven't-
seen that, Mandela?
No.
I actually started watching it this week, and
You couldn't get through it, could you?
I just wasn't into it. But it wasn't particularly bad or anything. I just couldn't understand what was the point of it. Really, it just seemed frenetic. And,
she's jumping timelines and stuff in it, Mandela. This is right up your fucking alley.
Yeah, I suppose, but I like a more thoughtful Twin Peaks type approach than
Well, she goes to the Red Room at one point. How do you like that?
Well, you
Yeah.
only see that for a couple of seconds, I think, and so
So what?
it just
Mandela
seemed
now
really
went about it.
frenzied at the start. And
I
it's
heard
like there's a woman getting laundry done and stuff, and then she keeps referring to this woman as the big nose woman and things like this. It's none of the characters in it seemed very particularly likable.
kinda generic. For that weighty of a subject, it seems a little generic.
Well, I intend to watch it. I understand it looks a little frenetic and all that kind of thing, but I've been wanting to watch it for a while.
Like
Oi, Gary says it gave me a bloody headache, just like them Marvel films. So there
there's
you
a
go.
Mandela Effect movie, and it was
I did quite like the actor who was, in the Goonies and all that, and
The Goonies. Do you
he
mean the
seemed
kid
pretty
from,
good in it.
Indiana Jones 2?
Yeah, he's in both of them, wasn't he?
Was he in the Goonies?
He's in the Goonies. He was the one who was like had all of the
short
Uh,
run.
was basically playing the same
yeah,
character
yeah.
almost. I can't remember.
Dr. John! Dr. John!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will watch it, even though whatever. Okay,
No,
then
it
here.
seemed all right. It seemed okay. It was nothing terrible. It probably improves. I mean, but I did expect perhaps something a little bit more from it from the start. And I mean, I did also watch the majority this week of Jurassic World Dominion, and that almost made me want to give up on what just.
I also watched that, and it was very generic.
I was just like, what a waste! You got like all the old casting and everything, and it's just the same old. Like nothing in it was like. There was no suspense. There was nothing. They didn't even use the music effectively. It was just. It felt like a TV movie type. I mean, I honestly think that the budgets they give out for these, it just seemed like they really made this like threadbare, and it was not good.
Did you find Chris Pratt dreamy?
Yes.
No, I mean, I don't personally find him dreamy. I didn't find any of the characters, and none of the characters in it were given enough screen time. I mean, actually, I thought that what's her name? Ron Howard's daughter was she was good in it, perhaps just to look at, but
we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is the movie.
Because she's not like 8 stone in weight. Voltaire wouldn't like her. So.
No, that's not why, you jerk. All right, I don't like her complaints, her false complaints.
She was the best of that movie, I'll say.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
No, she was the only one who seemed to actually be bothered that she was in it.
Yes.
She was crying about her contract that she signed.
Wow.
Anyway, this film, I mean, honestly,
woman who grew up in some of the most privilege you could imagine.
Fallen Kingdom was not good. I mean, this was taking it to the next level of not good. It was just, it was beyond. It was like started off. It was like a blooming parody. The amount of times it came up with a new place that they were, like location.
You know what? I thought that maybe they were doing that a little bit tongue in cheek. They should have followed through a little more with that parody aspect of it. Like Jeff Goldblum, his scenes where he was giving the lecture. I mean, that was some straight trolling. It seemed like the audience type of thing, But they're trying to walk that fine line between super serious drama or something and action movie.
But when none of the dinosaurs in it, apart from the one that came out of the water and it had like feathers on it, when none of them are very.
Well, I mean, like the one scene where she goes under the water. I mean, that was cool. I like that. It seemed like, from what I understand, it was one of these super long things that got a half hour cut out of it. So.
Yeah, didn't you? As Charlotte says, weren't you happy to see Laura Dern, James? I know you love her work.
Well,
Oi,
I like
Diane.
I don't think.
No, I didn't think that because I was associating it with the. I just thought that it was just a total missed opportunity to sort of reconnect with the original characters and their relationships with each other and stuff. It's just.
How was Jeff Goldblum?
He was doing a parody of that character, basically.
Yeah. Speaking of him,
Really?
But a weak parody.
Well, I mean, he's almost become a bit of a parody, hasn't he?
he should be Bloom.
Well, there was one shot where there was this like rather attractive black lady, and she looked over at him and sort of tutted because he had another button undone on his shirt, as if that was like a bad look. And it was like just so much of a a nod to the audience, like as if anyone would care in that kind of situation. Because his character was always going around bare-chested and stuff, wasn't he?
Everybody wants to jump Jeff.
Brundlefly, he likes to be called. Like, if I ever met him, I would say, "Hey, it's Brundlefly."
What?
His character from The Fly, he called himself Brundlefly.
Oh my god! Okay.
You never saw that film?
I saw The Fly. I don't remember him.
Yeah, I've seen. I don't know why. That's one of those movies I've seen like 7 times.
Brundlefly.
Brundlefly. Okay.
It's because it's such a good film.
It is a great film. The next one is a movie that both of you blew a load over, The Fabelmans, which is Steven Spielberg's jack-off testament.
Well, it's just come out here, and I will go and see it, actually.
Oh, you have not seen it?
That's the first one on the list.
Totally based on Mandela Man's recommendation, to be honest, because
people
otherwise, without knowing what he's mentioned about it, which I don't think he said really on this show, he said it privately to me because I'm a valued customer, so it does sound good. If you just think it's about like Steven Spielberg learning how to be a filmmaker, I mean, yeah, okay, that could sound a bit
self-jack-offery. Jacking himself
maybe
off.
like self-pleasuring, but
self-flagellation.
Yeah.
Not self-flagellation.
It's good self-flagellation, put it that way.
But it's more about actually his family dynamics and how. Well, you can mention it if you want, Mandela Man. It's interesting.
It goes pretty deep into his family.
What would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10?
That's
always the best way to rate a film.
There was 5 films that I consider the best, and this is one of them.
So this is one of your top 5 films of all time?
No, of last year.
For God's sake!
Last year.
That's not. That's
okay. All time.
Can you not just give it a rating on a percentage basis or something? Is it?
It's the best Spielberg movie in 20 years, probably.
The best movie in the last 20 years.
Of Spielberg's, for God's sake.
Spielberg movie.
Well, that's not much of a rating. I mean, I'm saying just on a scale of what? Do you give it a 66%? 70%?
I give it a 8.2.
82%. Huh.
Yeah.
That's pretty high. Okay. What's another movie that rates at 82%?
Yeah, we know it's pretty high, for God's sake. He deserves it. Get it? Right.
Maybe I'm.
I don't know. I don't know why you have to take it this far.
Okay. All right. I'll watch it before I judge. So there you go. And the next film is Tar with
it's like pushing me to the edge.
You know what?
Accent on it, which I don't know what that's all about.
You know what, Voltaire? When you watch Fabelmans, I'll send you a few of his videos and like a little bit of info about like the movies he's referencing in the film. Like that, there's kind of a hidden message going on.
Hey, James, don't you have a T-shirt like Ashton's avatar there of a lion flying through the flames, and you wear that around?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
I've got a wolf one in the snow again, as like Prairie in the OA.
Good. Okay, so what's this next film, Tar? Are either of you familiar with this film, Tar?
No, but when I saw the trailer, I meant to like make a point to see it, and I still haven't seen it.
Oh, that's something.
Why don't you pull
just about? You mean the one about a composer? Where it's got Kate Blanchett in.
Oh, I saw one clip from it where a kid was saying that I'm not I'm not into old white composers, and then she gives them the business for why you should be. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I like Kate Blanchett. You can't complain about her. She's usually good in everything for the most part. It's difficult to complain about her. She's a fine actress. Okay, then one of the most high key movies we've seen in years, Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
That's.
I mean, I don't know about I didn't notice that it was high tea particularly. But,
Really?
well, have you even seen it?
I have not.
No.
No, I don't think it is. It's more
Mandela,
actually,
you haven't seen it?
Not really.
It's
Isn't that
actually
something?
quite sort of more memorialization and sort of
Pumped. It doesn't get you pumped and jacked.
No, I didn't find it. I was not getting pumped or jacked during the screening personally, but I mean, what am I supposed to be am I supposed to be getting pumped or jacked during the scene where he visits Val Kilmer and the character's dying, and then it's his funeral? I mean,
Well, that's
It's-
not very pumped or jacked. I agree.
it's quite. It was all quite. I wasn't there like, yeah.
But isn't there a point where he's motivating Miles Teller and you're like, yeah?
No, I mean, I thought the film was fairly average as a whole, but it certainly was well made for what it is.
Got our
So-
guy from Too Old to Die Young, right? He's the young kid, right?
Miles Teller, yeah, he's in
Yeah.
it, but he's hardly in it a lot.
I like Miles Teller. He does fine.
I'm not super big on like military propaganda films.
Mm. And I know you don't like
Not my favorite genre.
Church of Scientology. I know you have your things with
Well,
them
no, I
too.
saw it and I immediately wanted to join
Although I like Pat
the
Corey.
Air Force.
Yeah. Okay, and next on the list is this is a great title, Triangle of Sadness.
Yeah, is that who's in that? Is that an American film or is that?
I have no idea. I'm not familiar with
I
it
think
at
I
all.
saw that. That was a freaky ass movie.
Really?
If I'm remembering the right
Hang on, I'm looking up who is in it because I'm not familiar with
That's
this film at
trailer.
all. But I love the title.
yeah, if I'm thinking of
Great
the one,
title.
it's really interesting.
Oh, it's got Woody Harrelson in it. Yeah.
He's good in everything too.
Woody Harrelson.
Let's see what the tagline for it is.
It looks interesting. I think
A
it's
fashion model celebrity couple join an eventful cruise for the super rich. What is it? A dark comedy or something? Yeah, comedy drama.
but it sinks.
Maybe I didn't see it. Thinking of something else.
All right. Okay.
Weird
That's something.
What's it called?
It's called Triangle of Sadness.
So
Is a cinematography
triangle
of Top
top.
Gun as good as Gary is describing there, Kimberly?
Well, I mean, it is good for the film, but I mean, personally, I wouldn't give it an award for that
Bloody
Well,
hell.
because I think there are more deserving films than a huge budgeted sort of Tom Cruise extravaganza that just doesn't really it doesn't hit home in the way that the box office might suggest it did or something in some way. But I mean, it's sort of it's okay. It's pretty well done. I can understand why people might have been impressed by it because it's pretty flashy for what it is, and I mean, it does start off within the initial credits of like with the Danger Zone music. That impressed me because I was like, this is really kind of just going for it, you know.
And you got pumped and jacked at that point.
That did make me get a bit pumped, yeah. But it's, I don't know. I think some of the cinematography in it, on a technical standpoint, probably does deserve an award for that, yeah.
Indeed.
Because, I mean, it literally has
He's jumping out of the plane. And
Tom Cruise, like, you know, literally in a plane. I mean, he's not actually driving
He is.
driving it.
He
No,
is.
he's not. He's in the back seat.
He is,
something like
but he's just got a backup to just in case shit goes sideways. But he does fly planes.
All right. They'll start getting a massive hard on.
He's a real man. He's a true alpha male.
And you know, they've got the cameras in the planes, and everything is pretty. There's no CGI really in that film.
That's
Really.
great. That's really good. Well, then
So on
sounds
that
like
basis,
Gary's
I
right.
do- Yeah, I think it should get an award for that. To be fair,
Okay.
because I mean, you know, you've got to give some awards to the massive successes of the year, haven't you? And I think it really thrived on the fact that people were going back to the theaters and they wanted to see a film, basically. And but I mean, you know, like a big film, a feel good, and as you're saying, the pumped aspect. And there was people doing that in certain aspects. I did see some people kind of getting down on the knee and or one knee and then going, yeah,
Mm.
as they went out.
So in my region, on New Year's night, before I watched the ball descend, I was watching White Noise. So is that not considered as part of that year?
You watched the
I would
ball
think it-
descending.
The movie,
His,
White
his
I
own
mean,
ball.
testes.
It seemed to come out on Netflix on New Year's Eve. Hence, that's part of that year's movies, right? I mean,
I
where's
would
that?
think so. I don't know. I would think so. Okay, so let's finish the nominations here. Number 10, Women Talking.
I don't even know what this film is.
I think that's something about Quaker women, and there's some kind of
God.
sexual assault scandal.
Oh,
that
I do now. Yeah, it's only just
Yeah.
coming out here. It's got
Mhm.
Rooney Mara and a variety of other people in it.
I like me some Rooney.
Yep, sure
Can't
does.
Not for that Rooney.
Okay,
I
so
think
as you,
it's a little bit of a probably just a so-called woman's film, but you know.
no, sexist. I hate that.
Did you guys ever see her do the Mary Magdalene where Joaquin plays Jesus, that movie, and she's Mary Magdalene?
No.
Check that movie out. It's pretty good.
All right. So you'll see this is Holly. It looks like the Oscars, whose ratings have been really bad and their reputation has been terrible the last few years. These movies, look at what do you notice about all of them? These are all movies, with the exception of Tar and Triangle of Sadness. They're, common movies that people watch, which the Oscars have completely gone away from the last few years. So maybe they've learned their lesson. I would hate to think it, because these people are idiots and I can't give them credit for anything.
Public loves dumbed down spectacle.
Guess, yeah, like what do you think, Mandela man? Black Panther wasn't nominated. Neither was that what was that Woman King movie or whatever it was, when in years past those films would have been nominated.
That's just no.
Okay, the nominees for Best Actor are Austin Butler as Elvis.
Where's fucking Green Knight?
Colin Farrell for Banshees of Inisherin. He is very good in it. Brendan Fraser for The Whale. Now, I've heard such good things about The Whale that I really do want to see The Whale.
How about Colin Farrell for the damn Batman, where he plays
Are you kidding me? That's terrible.
Robert De Niro being the Penguin. That is...
Get the fuck out of here, Mandela.
Dude, it's a total transformation of character.
It's a shit transformation.
What?
They just put a bunch of stupid makeup on him.
You're going to eat your words when the Penguin series comes out, buddy.
Mm-hmm. So, Dan, you're right. They did increase the list a few years ago. They have to have a minimum 5 and a maximum 10, but they've added 10 this year, and they're much more of actual movies people see instead of shit like Moonlight and stupid shit like that being nominated,
But Avatar is a screensaver for 3 hours, bro.
Yeah, but it's also, you can't ignore the box office, Mandela. Get it?
I did. I go see it. I did. It literally...
You have to. Any movie that has that kind of box office, in my opinion, has to be nominated. Because if that many people go to see the fucking film, even if it's not my cup of tea, I'm not so pretentious that I can't acknowledge that a lot of people enjoyed it for whatever reason.
First of all, the first movie was... It was
mediocre in my eyes, but people love it.
Which country is the
they built the land, and then they
makes up the biggest audience for Avatar 2? Like China or something?
I think China for everything.
They're like, they go and see any old shit. They're like,
careful.
Let's go sit back to Avatar 2. I'm in a bus.
All right. So I saw, Austin Butler as Elvis. He was okay. That's fine. Colin Farrell and Banshee. I like Colin Farrell. He was good in that film.
Okay, but here's what I don't understand, bro. Mm-hmm. They're nominating... Okay, so this is my problem with the Razzies. They're nominating...
We're not at the Razzies yet. We're going to get to them, Mandela. Can you put your cock back in your pants? Can we get to that?
That Elvis movie is being nominated for that.
Can you wait till we get to the... We're going to get to the Razzies. I promised you already. Just fucking wait. Chill. All right?
Do they hate?
It's called teasing, all right? Just wait. Don't ruin it. All right. So Brendan Fraser is apparently brilliant in this fucking film where he plays a heavy-set individual.
No, I heard it's blown out of proportion.
Okay. Then Paul Mescal from Aftersun. No idea what that is. Bill Nye the Science Guy from a movie called Living.
I haven't seen an Aronofsky film. I didn't like.
Is After Sun an Aronofsky film?
The Whale is.
That's all the more reason I want to watch. Aronofsky is one of those guys who I don't love all his films, but I will see all his films for the most part. Like I liked Mother, and I loved Noah. I mean, that's an underrated movie. To hell, that's an underrated film. I think just because of the concept of Noah, but it's a fantastic film. And if you haven't seen Noah, do yourself a favor and go enjoy it.
Thumbs up.
Mother is I could see how that's somewhat polarizing for people. Sometimes Aronofsky's films make you feel a certain way when you watch them. Like
it scared the hell out of me.
They stay with you. Like, and some of the scenes are a bit disturbing. Whatever. Even The Wrestler, which isn't disturbing, but he's very good at getting the feeling out. You know what I mean? It
isn't disturbing. It's quite disturbing.
Yeah, it's not disturbing in the tone of like gory or like violence and that kind of thing, but like the scene. Okay, look, if you watch the scene where there's a scene where one of the scenes from The Wrestler where it's given from, sorry, what's the actress's name who Peter Parker's aunt who plays the stripper? What's her name again?
Marissa
Tomei, where she's sort of giving her perspective as a stripper. If you just go watch that scene again, and you'll never want to go to a strip club or anything ever again, just because it's like it just makes you. He does such a brilliant job at that. You also feel the despair of The Wrestler, and as a fan of wrestling when I was younger and going to smaller shows when I was a kid, you'd see some of these former wrestlers at these shows, like sitting at tables with autographs of them and Hulk Hogan from when they were, you know what I mean? It's like you could tell these guys are barely making ends meet. He captured it so well. Like he's really good at that.
He used Mickey Rooney's like real life desperation.
Mickey Rourke.
Being old, Mickey Rourke. His real life desperation and getting older, and kind of worked that into the character.
All his weird plastic surgery he's had and shit.
Yeah.
All right, so I will watch The Whale.
Well, he actually did wrestling himself, didn't he? Or
boxing, I think. Yeah, I think it was boxing.
That's what partly led him down the path with the surgery and everything, because he damaged his face, but it just.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
I'm just saying.
I mean, it's two things going together. So.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but the Brendan Fraser character apparently suffers from the same thing I have, but he's overweight as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, congestive heart failure. So
no, then don't watch it, Mandela, because I got to tell you something. Aronofsky will portray it so true to life. It might disturb you to a bad point, brother. I'm not even making a joke. If it's I don't even know if I want to watch. I don't like watching movies about people with health issues, like serious conditions. I find it too depressing.
I'm just saying, I've been watching a couple. Besides the Saturday Night Live, I've been watching some of these other movies that like the regular public would watch. I watched something with Chris Cooper the other night where he's like a chef. It's like almost a Hallmark movie, but it's not.
Well, you should watch that show, The Bear, if you about a chef in Chicago. That's right up your alley.
Every movie that's coming on is disabled. This Inuit Eskimo that.
All right, okay, Mandela. All right, so Best Actress. Let's move on to that here. Okay, we got Cate Blanchett. I haven't seen the movie, but I imagine she's brilliant in it. Anna de Armas, one of James's favorite actresses, in Blonde. Andrea Riseborough in To Leslie.
Book. What the hell?
Riseborough. Michelle Williams in
Talk about making up fake English names.
Yeah. Michelle Yeoh in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I'm sorry to bring this up again. I know you're telling me spoilers, but when you say Anna de Armas, Best Actress in a Leading Role, so she's being nominated for that, and then also simultaneously being nominated for a Razzie in the same category. I just don't understand.
All right, Mandela. Yeah, I told you we were going to do the Razzies. Okay, so just chill. Here we are. We're at the Razzies because Mandela Man can't keep his dick in his pants about it. All right, so
like what the fuck is? I mean, are we that? Like, what is the logic of like a society that is simultaneously saying it's the best movie, best acting of the year, they're nominating for that, and it's the worst?
All right. Well, I mean,
Are we that as a society that we can't even like agree on?
all right. So these are the Razzies. Anybody who's not familiar with the Razzies,
Right.
these are a
We'd
tongue.
have to look back at the Razzies over the years. Like, it seems unfair to me if she's getting nominated for Worst Actress for the Razzies. That it doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think that's
I don't necessarily think she. I'm not sure if she warrants like Best Actress, but at the same time,
I feel like it's political.
The performance was good enough to be certainly not seen as bad.
The worst.
Right?
You know, I would agree with that based on what I saw.
There's nothing laughable about it or anything, you know.
No.
That was one of the best movies of the year too.
All right, so let's see here.
Well, it was in many ways, but it was
okay.
For me, it was a little bit too or singular in its own way, kind of.
So here's our nominations for Worst Picture: Blonde, which you guys have just said is wrong. And I don't think it counts as Worst Picture. It wasn't particularly my favorite, but whatever. Disney's Pinocchio, which I know you didn't like, Mandela, right?
That was shit.
Okay. Good Morning, not Morning. Good Morning, which I don't even know what that is.
You know what? That Disney Pinocchio, it would have been fine if they just left the lessons in there, like the smoking lesson, and that they took out like the deeper fairy tale aspects of the character. You know that.
So, Good Morning, movie star London Clash gets his world turned upside down when he must choose between pursuing his one true love and landing a life-changing starring role in a major motion picture. Director Machine Gun Kelly, starring Machine Gun Kelly, one of James's favorite performers. Have you seen that film, Good Morning?
I thought Machine Gun Kelly was killed.
No, he is not. Not in this timeline, anyway.
No, he's. I mean, this is something that warrants the nomination, I imagine. But you only have to look at Dan Peake's comment as saying that the Razzies have a weird history. My favorite film, Scarface, was nominated for Worst Direction by De Palma.
Well, that's just that's just completely ridiculous if they nominated that as the worst film.
I find that to be an
worst directed film. It's not overrated. The movie is just what it is. It's a fantastic film. I know that it's been pop culturized and every rapper has a poster of Scarface and quotes it and all that kind of thing. But the film itself is very good, and some of the shots in the film are amazing. The direction is actually really good in that film. Very quotable film, well written, everything. It's hard to dispute Scarface, in my opinion. Okay, The King's Daughter. Not familiar with that film. Has anyone heard of this movie, The King's Daughter? Is that about Princess Diana?
No, I don't know. Is that the one, from those Kingsman films, another spin-off from those? Or?
Oh, my God. It's a film starring Pierce Brosnan as King Louis XIV. Oof.
What?
I have not heard of this. King Louis XIV's quest for immortality leads him to capture and steal a mermaid's life force, a move that is further complicated by his illegitimate daughter's discovery of the creature. Okay, so it's King Louis XIV working with a mermaid. That is starring Pierce Brosnan. Okay, that's really that. Now that, just based on the description, sounds like it earned that nomination for worst film of the year.
Now I'm curious though.
And then Morbius, starring now disgraced Jared Leto or Leto.
Why is he disgraced?
There's some stuff coming out about him and a 15-year-old trans kid.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
sounds fine.
Heard about it. I just got hit with the Justin Roiland, and then
Justin Roiland's finished himself, and he's done. He's finished himself.
He's not even prosecuted yet. Wait.
Yeah, but unlike these other accusations, he's the guy, one of the creators of Rick and Morty. Unlike other accusations, Mandela, this isn't just some girl saying that. Yeah, it's not a he said she said. He's being prosecuted by the police. Like, there's some legitimate stuff. He's in criminal court right now in Orange County. So he's finished.
You know what? I've had a girlfriend almost OD in the bathroom and have to kick open the door. It's not like he put her in a cage. It's something about the bathroom, right?
All right. Worst actor, Machine Gun Kelly. Pete Davidson for Marmaduke. I didn't even know a Marmaduke film came out. All right. Tom Hanks as Geppetto in Disney's Pinocchio.
That was, but yeah, probably. Yeah. That
Jared
was
Leto as Morbius. Sylvester Stallone in Samaritan. Now that's actually, look, I told you guys when I watched Samaritan, when I reported my review on this as a lover of whatchamacallit, of Stallone, that this was a movie that Amazon said, we're going to pay you X amount of dollars. Okay, you got me for 2 days. And he did like 2 days of dialogue and he was not into it. And the film is just not up to snuff at all. It was a paycheck. And yes, Phantom Cooper, he was texting 16-year-olds. Yes, you're correct. Justin Roiland is finished. And let's see here. Worst actress, Bryce Dallas Howard, Jurassic Park Dominion. Both of you were just commenting on that film. How do you feel about Bryce's performance? A performance that she complained about her contract that she signed.
I didn't find anything particularly bad from what I saw of her.
I thought she was one of the better parts of the movie.
Okay. Controversy at the Razzies here. Diane Keaton in Mark and Rita. Well, I haven't seen that. Kaya Scodelario in The King's Daughter. I got to see this King's Daughter just because the premise is so bloody ridiculous.
Yeah, so bizarre.
I have to watch that now. I like Pierce Brosnan too, by the way.
It sounds like they might be taking it like deadly serious. So.
Pierce
the only
Brosnan
people who've ever watched that film have only ever seen it because they had no other choice on an airplane flight. They were out of it. They were either they had bad insomnia or whatever. Oh, I watched this thing with Pierce.
Yeah.
This will make me go to sleep.
And then Alicia Silverstone in The Requiem, which I haven't seen or heard of. This is a fun category right here. Worst remake / ripoff / sequel. Blonde, number 1. Both 365 days.
What the fuck are these Razzie?
They really hate
people.
Blonde.
They just seem like dicks.
Right.
One of the best of the year, man. Like
Disney's Pinocchio.
I don't think Blonde warrants that level of hatred. It's just
Firestarter. Did they remake Firestarter? Huh.
Again? Wait, that would be the third reboot, I think.
Would it?
No, it's only once.
Yeah, I can't
imagine. It's got exactly the same poster as the first film, basically.
Oh, there's only one poster. It's a little girl with fire around her. Oh, you're right. It is the exact same poster, James.
No, literally.
Oh, no. You know what? Mandela is right. There's a movie from 2002 called Firestarter Rekindled.
That's right.
Oh, my God. Well,
it's the exact same as the Drew Barrymore. Okay, so Firestarter, the 2022 version, is free on Amazon Prime in America if anybody wants to watch it.
Yeah, it's on Now TV here as well.
Oh, it's got that dreamy Zac Efron.
He's probably not even that terrible, and I imagine it might have even done okay. I mean, not as well as Megan, which I went to see this week, the one about the android girl.
Oh, right. We'll talk about that.
The robot.
Yeah, I'm curious to have your full review.
That's done surprisingly well at the box office.
Yeah. Phantom, I disagree with you. Rick and Morty is a brilliant show, but okay, you're entitled to your opinion on that.
Is it like a Small Wonder reboot, right?
Okay, so that's it. There's just we're supporting worst screen couple. These are actually good categories. Worst screen couple. Machine Gun Kelly and Maud's son, whatever the hell that is. Both real-life characters in the fallacious White House bedroom scene. Blonde. Wow, they really hate Blonde.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. It's got
Tom Hanks and his latex laden face and ludicrous accent.
Or something. It's just
stupid.
They don't seriously hate it. It's just some kind of.
I think it's.
Look at here. Here's this one. Andrew Dominic and his issues with women in Blonde. Wow. Worst director. Judd Apatow, The Bubble. Oh my God, The Bubble is a horrific film.
His issues with women, that proves what I'm saying, that this is like a political witch hunt type of red.
So Judd Apatow, worst director for The Bubble. The Bubble is an unwatchable film. I couldn't get through 15 minutes of it. Mandela Man, I think you managed to watch the whole thing, didn't you?
I did indeed.
Okay.
Just was curious from a
I'm shocked that you made it.
ecological standpoint, like sociological type of, like I imagine that this is a reflection of what's going on in real life, and I was thinking, yeah, like you were saying, like I don't think a person like Lynch would put a mask on, take it off, just
Yeah, all that shit.
Uh,
All right, of course they nominate Andrew Dominik as the worst director for Blonde. They really dislike that movie. Worst screenplay, Blonde. Disney's Pinocchio, Good Morning, Jurassic World Dominion.
Have you seen the Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio?
I watched it. Yes, I tried. Funny story about that.
Oh, really?
My nieces and nephew were visiting, age ranging between 2 and 7, and I go, "Hey, let's put on Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio."
Yeah,
It's PG, no big deal.
right.
I mean, the fucking kid gets bombed in the beginning of the film in World War II. They go to a Catholic church. There's a fucking Jesus on the whole cross thing. I mean, it was just even. And my 7-year-old, she goes, "This is weird." And when I watch weird movies, I get weird dreams. I go, "Okay, let's stop. We'll stop watching it." So.
Oh well, I think when I recommended it, you asked me about that, and I didn't say. You said a 2-year-old. I don't know. I think I said like a 5-year-old, maybe.
Okay, well, if it's not good for 5-year-olds either.
You remember? I mean,
Gary, that's a great point. How did Bros not make the Razzies nominations? That is fascinating. You're absolutely right.
What's that?
Bros. Gary said, "How come the film
Yeah,
Bros
where's
is
Bro?
nominated?"
It's down here, but no Bros. Yeah, okay, dude.
Interesting. I missed that. That's a good point.
Unbelievable.
Okay, so that wraps up our nominations for awards season. Go ahead and if you're the type to try to watch every movie that's nominated for an Oscar, you got 10 films to watch. Some of them are pretty good, worth your watching time.
I feel like the White Noise movie, that was my favorite movie of the year. And I feel like it's getting robbed because it got released on New Year's Eve. And now this year is going to have so many extraordinary, like, blockbuster type movies. You got your Justice League, your fucking...
You think that's going to be a Oscar-worthy movie, that Justice League?
I think it's going to make
a Flash film.
I think it's going to make a lot of money, like this.
I do too.
Okay. But you got Indiana Jones. I think a lot of people are going to go see that, unless it's, unless it's like sacrilege.
People will go see it because of the property.
Right?
Now, will it make $1 billion? No way.
All right, Mario Brothers. That's another one. That's gonna probably be
kids
movie of the year. That's my estimation.
I'm gonna watch All Quiet. I really want to get an idea of this film.
Yeah. The Oppenheimer thing, I'm going to the theater for that for sure.
Yeah, whatever. I'm over Nolan.
Scorsese's movie's coming out on Apple Plus.
How can you be over Nolan?
I don't know, man. What do you want to tell you? I couldn't get through Tenet. I thought it was boring.
But Voltaire,
yeah, but you didn't go to the cinema for the full-on experience, did you?
So what?
If you're in the cinema, it's different. It's bigger.
You yourself said it wasn't that great. You said it was mediocre at best.
But he's covering like.
Yeah, but I'm still, I'm just still saying that on the cinema it does make a difference. So
okay.
Don't you want to see it out of like the subject matter alone being like a Twin Peaks Jason?
What? That. Yeah.
Can I just say, for instance, where two of the best films probably going to be nominated next year, but Orphan First Kill and Megan. I mean, those films. Megan.
Tell us about Megan, please.
Well, it's spelled M3GAN, and she is basically a robot.
Small wonder.
And in it, the little girl is the same little girl who's spoken to by Rose the Hat in Doctor Sleep and abducted. That little girl in that is the same one in this. So,
playing the robot or playing the little girl?
The girl.
Playing the little girl. And the robot, really, it's hard to know, really, if it is a real person at all. I mean, in the body, yes, but in the face, it's completely sort of mechanical or whatever, or robotic. Yeah, I recommended it anyway, but it's very much a predictable kind of film, but within the cinema setting, I really think it.
Geez, with this. You've got to go to the cinema to see a movie about a little robot killing a girl and her mum.
No, like her parents get killed in a car crash, and then she's left on her own with her aunt, and then her aunt is a robot designer, just as it happens. So,
what I think that happened, the very robot I designed is trying to kill me.
And you watch the film and you're like, why does the robot suddenly become sinister? I don't understand. Like what in that like Westworld kind of aspect of just, and I can't remember or think of anything in the film that justified that. What she just was very protective of the little girl in it, basically. And
so she starts killing people.
But it's nonsensical because after all, the girl like practices doing dance moves with her and stuff. Then later on in the film, in one scene that was memorable for what it is as a B movie, she's running towards somebody, the robot girl, Megan, and as she's running towards her, she's doing like a dance move, as in like kind of coming after her to grab hold of her and
like
attack.
A murderous dance move.
Yes.
Oh, that sounds amazing already.
Well, I mean, this is what's driven it upwards to make something like $120 million so far.
Well, no wonder with a scene like that you've just described, you certainly want to see that in the theaters.
Yeah, I mean that made it worth seeing it for me in the theater, honestly. And I mean, Orphan, it was better than Orphan First Kill, I'll say that, which was basically like the first film made quite a bit of money 10 years ago. Okay, let's just do a sequel with less money. But it's got Julia Stiles in it. We can get her in it. Yeah.
Well, what has she done?
Julia Stiles?
Lately, I mean.
Well, no, I don't know, but I think she's most known for the Bourne films, partly, and before that she was in all those teen comedies and things, wasn't she? So
yeah, but she hasn't done anything.
She was in the remake of The Omen, but that's not really something she boasts about, I'm sure.
Oh, I think she does when she's at cocktail parties.
I was in the remake of The Omen with Liev Schreiber. It was shit.
Don't be jealous.
Don't be jealous. I mean, have either of you two even watched that remake of The Omen?
No, but I kind of want to now.
I would imagine not. That was a bad idea from the get-go. That really was. But anyway,
they should have just got Mouth of Madness back and carried on from where they left off, the original ones.
Yeah, well, I think that James, that would be a good review for you to write for Megan.
Right. Yeah,
better than Orphan, the Orphan sequel.
Yeah,
no, they're doing Megan 2.0. It's already been announced.
Well, good for them. I mean, this is people like this concept of robots coming after us.
Well, yeah, I do, but I think at the same time, I mean, if you compare this to say, how do you say it? Des Ex Machina.
Ex Machina or whatever.
Yeah. That film. I mean, this is like nowhere near that in terms of quality of filmmaking. It's just, but. I mean, that was excellent, wasn't it?
That was a great film. That was a terrific film.
Pretty
but,
good,
we are living in the eve of AI, on the eve of AI. AI is coming. It's already here. And Millie points out, if you recall, Johnny Five also became angry and when people hurt Stephanie. It's clearly in their nature.
Johnny Five is alive.
One of the best robots from the 80s, Johnny Five.
Awesome animatronic, man. That is there. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think.
Good morning, Millie.
One of the more
many people appreciate that film for its very sensitive race relations.
Indeed, it was ahead of its time in that regard. It's the kind of woke movie that would
instead of actually getting an Indian actor, they're just like, okay, see this brown makeup here, mate, put that on. Yeah, I am an Indian man now. Thank you very much. Yes.
Right.
It wasn't until years later that I realized that that's the guy from Super Mario Bros.
Des Ex Machina. Yeah,
Nope.
I went to see that film and I said, "Can I see Ex Machina, please?"
Now, is that a film that you has to be seen on the cinema too, James? As you said,
I never even saw it on the cinema.
you
And
never saw it.
I will say, because that film is just so well done in terms of its photography and everything, and just everything about it, that it stands up on a TV
Ah,
right from the get go. You know, when it's got Dom Hall Gleason, and he's dumped on that island with all the green scenery and lushness. It stands up on the TV screen, but it's just, just imagine if you were seeing that on a big screen. Oh, come on.
the girl who plays Mantis in Guardians of the Galaxy is in it. She's very attractive in that film.
Do you guys have any interest in this Mia Goth?
Okay.
Alexander Skarsgård. Is this a Cronenberg kid movie?
James loves Cronenberg.
I haven't really had any interest in the Rated X or whatever that movie's called, but there's this Infinity Pool one. That looks pretty weird.
That Cronenberg film that was released recently. Did you
Crimes
ever
of
go
the
see
Future,
that?
I've seen that.
I did.
Yeah.
Seen that.
Yeah.
Didn't hear a lot of buzz or hype. I heard a lot of hype before it, but not too much talk about it afterwards. Was it quite bad or something?
It's more like a play or something. It's not really like a typical Cronenberg film. He has a tendency to sometimes make films that are very austere, and then it was one of those. Whereas I prefer the ones like more, end of, what's it called? The End of Violence, is it? Or
James.
History of Violence?
Yeah, History of Violence, and also I've gone faulty. I'm sorry, I've forgotten the name of the film now. With Jude Law and Jennifer Jason Leigh. Oh my god! I feel like someone's put glue inside my head.
Now, would you say that film, that Cronenberg film, needed to be seen in the cinema?
No.
Well, I didn't see it in the cinema.
What?
I think seeing it in the cinema would have made it possibly a bit more immersive. But it's
immersive.
It's so distancing. It's so distant from the audience. I don't think it would make a much difference, to be honest.
It seemed like a good movie. It just, to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, James, did you think that he had this set piece, this dentist chair that he had to use in some way, and that seemed to be kind of weirdly sandwiched into the movie for visual aspect only.
I don't know. It's like Cronenberg is so productive. Like, compare him to Lynch, for instance, and they're both around the same kind of ages now, even I think. And whereas Cronenberg just keeps making films, and I think like they got an opportunity to do this, and it's set on this kind of rather rundown island somewhere in presumably Europe somewhere. It's kind of got this weird feel to it. And it's almost like they had just had the opportunity to do this thing and put on this. And it feels like watching a play in a few different locations.
For a guy who's had 4 pacemakers, the subject matter was like really hit close to home.
I thought that, for instance, Kristen Stewart, I mean, she was excellent, actually. She played her role really well. She was sort of strangely staccato way of speaking, like fast, a bit hyper, and she had this fascination with what she was doing, which was obviously this sort of
body modification.
But she was actually getting like intense pleasure from it, wasn't she? And
hacking.
She's very. But she really played the character excellent. I mean, she was clearly like.
Go on, Jesus.
Interesting.
But that doesn't make the whole film brilliant by any means.
Lusting after this Kristen Stewart, Jesus.
It's just an oddity more than anything. Yeah, it's just the way she really kind of, many people have said it about the film, like that she's probably one of the standout things of it. And when she's not the lead character and everything. That's
All right.
not
Keep it in your
necessarily the best
past.
scene, is it? Yeah, it's not like that. It's not. I'm not trying to say it in that kind of way.
You sound very lustful.
I wasn't trying to say it like that.
I know.
I wasn't trying to say it in a lustful manner. I was trying
It
to.
came out.
No, it's more just.
I think Naked Lunch and Mouth of Madness are like the two that stand up.
She did have the way Kristen Stewart was acting like this. Do you remember when they meet the guy? And this is like a much earlier film, but when he first became quite successful, like Scanners, and they go and meet that guy who's got that amazing scannering ability, and he's like an artist making these big heads and stuff inside this barn and all that. The way she sort of acts in this eccentric manner is a bit like that. It's always like they're like these kind of artist characters, and yeah, it's this weird technology, a bit like in the film that you two have not failed to tell me the name of from 1999. What's it called?
What are you talking about?
The film that he made in 1990.
Who? Cronenberg?
Yeah. Look it up now.
I'll look it up.
Existence, you bastards.
What was interesting?
Do you remember
I went way too strong though with my reaction.
Do you remember the VHS box for Scanners? Do you remember what it was?
Sorry?
Do you remember the VHS box for Scanners?
What you mean with that on the man's head exploding?
Like digital art, like a computer screen, blue and green type of computer graphics on the screen.
I thought it was with a guy in a suit, and he was like,
"Yeah, it was."
Very powerful VHS box if you have it.
Well, they use usually an actual still from the film, or sometimes it was like actually. Oh, you mean
this? Jesus Christ, you people! It's this. How do you not remember that? Oh, bloody
that one,
hell!
Yeah.
Their thoughts can kill.
Yeah, but there were other ones. Like if you look on there's other boxes where top right there, that's like the head exploding, but it's.
Oh, you're right.
They're not showing blood there. Oh, that's Scanners too. So.
Yeah, what the fuck? This is the classic Scanners. Right there. Terrifying.
In Crimes of the Future.
Oh, that's Dale Cooper. Blimey, that's Jack Nicholson.
That shot's a fantastic one. That one with the fire behind him, and I think it's done in slow motion in the film.
In Crimes of the Future, you notice, James, how they talk about their bodies are changing, and they're not sure if they're like a new form of human.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was almost seemed like a way to talk about there's certain Mandela effects people don't like to talk about, changes in the body, the heart being one of them. You know, it used to be over here like when we say Pledge of Allegiance. Now it's kind of directly in the middle of your chest, slightly tilted to the left a little bit, but it's right there in the middle. I've seen surgeons. I've asked the doctors in the office, and had young apprentice surgeons tell me it's still over here, and the old pros say no and laugh at them and tell them it's here. It's just weird that they could argue, like even in the office, about that in front of a patient. So there's other things like the mesentery not being discovered until 2015 or 16. Even though it takes up almost 30 your body weight, like on a 150-pound man, it's about 40 pounds of your body weight. But yet, people.
Mesentery. What's the mesentery?
Yeah, look it up. It's pretty crazy. It's this huge organ that sits in your abdomen and keeps.
Well, I've got a huge organ for you. Oh.
There was recently another smaller organ found.
Yeah, on James. Oh.
But
Oh, can you please keep this serious?
Think about it,
We're
Voltaire.
ruining it.
Think about it, Voltaire. Of all the thousands of corpses that the medical industry dissected, for them to discover 2 new organs right now, like in the last 4 years.
Did this happen in this reality or in another reality?
This is our current reality.
Bloody hell! I got to look into this. I wasn't aware that they discovered a new organ in the human body.
In my community, it's like these things
In your community,
these things freak people out, like talking about body changes. But yeah, they're
no, Millie, not a concert organ. Oh.
I thought that movie. I thought Cronenberg had a clever way of including that into the script, so it kind of makes the movie worth seeing from a sociological standpoint.
I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah, I'll send you some info about how these. Yeah, I mean, the mesentery is the craziest one because it's such a large part of your body mass. How could they miss it all these years, and then for it to just be brand spanking new in the medical journals? Pretty wild. And nobody makes a big deal about it. It's just like, hey, whatever.
That sounded like a sinister laugh right there.
Well, it's kind of insane when you really think about it. I mean, think about like the Knights Hospitalers. I mean, the medical industry paid people back in the 1800s to dig up bodies and bring them to them so they could dissect.
That's the story of Frankenstein.
I mean, how many thousands of bodies they must have cut up to miss a 40, 50-pound thing and a 160-pound.
Well, that doesn't even sound possible.
It just doesn't even sound plausible.
Sounds made up or like something like that.
I don't know. It's in every medical journal now. Like it's just kind of. I'll send you some info about it. We'll get into it. I'll find that other one. I can't remember offhand. I got it written down somewhere. I think it's like an ear canal extra. Something in your ear canal. There's a couple other ones too, like they have like ridges, and like when you look at the human skull, you'll see like tiny, 6 tiny little dots here, here, and here that were never there before, but now they're. Another weird thing would be like if you remember like your ribs kind of coming around.
Okay.
Do they connect? Do they all connect together, or do they come around and kind of hang loose? All right, around your rib cage.
Have any of us watched The Hidden from 1987? I'm not familiar with that film, actually.
Yeah, I've seen The Hidden, but a long time ago.
It sounds familiar. I have to see a trailer.
Kyle MacLachlan's, isn't it?
No, for sure.
Oh, really?
I like how you said MacLachlan there. That sounded accurate.
MacLachlan.
Yes.
Is it? MacLachlan, I said it.
It should be. Yeah. MacLachlan. Like that kind of. That's the way Dennis Hopper says it. When you watch the Blue Velvet behind the scenes, you'll notice he pronounces Kyle's name like the way it should be spelled with a GH.
So everybody's blowing a load over this Last of Us series on HBO. I haven't watched it yet. And I bet you haven't watched it either, Mandela Man, because probably you want to let the episodes build up so you can...
Nah, I'm good, bro. I'm good on that.
You're not into it?
Not interested.
Because you don't like Pedro Pascal, or just...
I don't like... I'm not a big, huge fan of like the zombie genre to begin with.
Here. Yeah.
And I didn't play the video game, and I just really have no desire to get it,
James, you played The Last of Us nonstop when you were a younger man, right?
I was actually... I would play that game religiously from the moment I woke up until I went to sleep.
Okay, there you go.
If I went to sleep. Sometimes I was actually up for 2 weeks playing that game.
I know more about the concept of the virus in the game than the actual game, the cordyceps virus.
I was really hammering it out on that game, let me tell you. You know, I would often play it in bed, and my sheets would be just covered in sweat.
Mm.
I got something to recommend for you guys. For you, Voltaire, specifically.
Go ahead.
You fancy yourself a Star Wars fan, right?
I do.
So this guy Genndy Tartakovsky, who was supposed to do the Popeye movie, which got released as a cinematic, and he did like Primal. Have you ever seen Primal on?
I don't think I have.
That's a really good show, but I've been watching work, and then all of a sudden I find out there's a 2-hour Clone Wars movie that he made.
Sweet Christ!
And if you dig animation and you want like some really good, he's really good at showing and not telling.
Can you please get that image off the screen now? Thank you.
No, we're gonna watch that trailer for the remake of Barbarella.
Who's actually in it?
Sydney Sweeney from fucking Euphoria.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So my point is, you know how there's Clone Wars, Voltaire?
Yeah, I've seen that cartoon that you're talking about.
Okay, yeah, okay. This is just called Clone Wars without the. Okay, it's on Disney Plus. There's only 2 episodes, so it's like a 2-hour.
I've seen
movie.
it, Mandela. It's old.
Oh,
I've seen it. Yeah, it's like 20 years old.
I thought it was. I just watched it last night. I thought it was awesome. Like it really. They should hire this guy to storyboard like a movie, man, because like it brings the wars back in the Star Wars in a way. I mean, I know that from that old era, but it's just I don't know. I think Tartakovsky's getting robbed lately.
Very good.
Sony uses them. Another thing is Servant is back on the air. If you haven't caught up with that, that's a good show.
I like the first season of Servant quite a bit. It's very cinematic and it's directed and shot really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
Second season kind of faded for me a little bit, but I really enjoyed that show.
Catch up with the family. Pretty good.
Yeah.
I recommend that.
Yeah. If you have an Apple Plus TV subscription, meaning you just got a new iPhone or a MacBook and you got the free subscription for a while, go ahead and check out The Servant. The first season, at least, it's good. I can recommend that. There isn't much on Apple TV to watch.
Just wait for me because I'm just going to have to get.
Just wait for you.
Yes, please.
It's going. I just watched the first 3 of the 4th season, so I think this might be the last one, or maybe it's going 5
Yeah,
seasons.
I think so too, because M. Night Shyamalan tweeted something out, and the guy who plays the guy from Harry Potter, Ron Weasley, they showed him at the premiere, and he was wearing what he was wearing to the premiere was just terrible. It was
a kilt.
No, kilt would have been fine. He was wearing like a weird T-shirt and a jacket. It just looked terrible, and I'm like, I get it. You're trying to be hip, I guess, but he's good in that Servant show. He's actually a good actor, Ron Weasley. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah.
He's good in the show for what he does. You know, and you had to worry about M. Night Shyamalan attaching his name to anything is not necessarily a positive anymore. It hasn't been for a long time, but this show he does well.
Hey, the only movie I have a problem with is when the grandparents shove the diaper into the face movie. But I like the rest of them. I even like Lady.
What, you like Lady in the Water?
I do like Lady in the Water.
Oh, you're crazy. I mean, that had a great cast and everything, and it was just
enjoyed
terrible.
that. No, I enjoyed that.
I don't mind The Village. I like The Village. I think The Village gets a bad rap. I even like the Mel Gibson film too.
Lady in the like a
The Happening with Mark Wahlberg. That one is where he starts to go off the rails for me.
A little, but not too much. I mean,
but Lady in the Water is.
Lady in the Water is
Giamatti. I'm a big fan of Paul Giamatti. barely
Well,
a watchable film.
to me, it was like an Edward Scissorhands fairy tale. I thought it was good for that, like modern day thing like that. And you know, Paul Giamatti, the 32nd Degree Mason. I mean, he fills the esoteric role there. You know, as
Yeah,
leader
and
of-
Old, Gary, you're right. Old was trash. Old was an episode of Black Mirror or The Twilight Zone stretched the fuck out to make a feature film. But that's all that was. Would have been
That
like an
one
episode
was
of Black Mirror or The Twilight Zone. I don't know how they greenlit it to be a movie.
that was
you
a little
know.
rough.
But do you agree it would have been a good like 45-minute hour episode of TV? That would have been
Oh, yeah,
fine.
for sure. But all
You
his
know?
movies are Twilight Zones. I mean,
Yeah, but that's okay. But some of them shouldn't be made into films. I don't know who thought that was a good idea to make that into a film. Now his new movie,
Old.
no, he's got a new movie with the guy who plays Drax is in it.
A Knock on the Cabin.
Knock on the Cabin Door. Yeah,
Yeah.
that again. That looks like. I mean, that's not an unusual concept. People are somewhere, and then somebody knocks at the door. And it's a bunch of fucked up people. Hello, Bijou Azomo. Welcome. Why am I off camera? I like to be anonymous. That's why. James went to get a snack.
Hello there, Bijou. Howdy there, partner. Right, sorry about that.
Are you gonna, Mandela Man? Are you gonna give James the business for eating like he gave you?
This is a very exclusive person in the chat who knows me online in certain ways. That's all. So,
certain ways.
What the hell is that?
In very private ways.
Ah.
So not for
bragging.
you, not for you to start knowing about. Let me tell you.
You're always bragging about your online dalliances.
Well, yeah, they're only online. They're not real. But certainly.
I don't know. Maybe she meets you in the town square.
I've been trying to figure out how to hook up Twin Peaks pinball.
Well, you have a Twin Peaks pinball machine.
That's, I think, everybody's dream out there.
No, I put it in. I put it in the chat. I found out that such a thing exists, and it's
a Twin
doable.
Peaks pinball machine.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, I'm sure. Yeah, it would surprise me. What it's doable to buy it?
yeah.
How much?
It's about $7.99 for the machine, and then you got to
All
add
right.
the table. You got to, which is kind of a process, but I think the tables are just like $20.
Where are you gonna?
But,
What about the footprint? Where are you gonna hold that? You're gonna keep that?
Right next to my heart.
I've just put that thing off the screen for the time being because otherwise it just makes us look really small,
Right next to my bed.
Right next to your bed.
I like to be big on the screen.
Yeah, we get it.
You can get a mini one for $500 actually. At Games Legends Pinball, pretty cool machines. They got haptic feedback now where you can actually like it's virtual pinball, but you hit the machine and the ball actually responds in haptic biofeedback or whatever, like to you, like a regular pinball machine would. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know about spending $800 for a big clunky thing to put in your house.
Yeah, well, I like the randomness of pinball.
I mean, if you had
I always like pinball, I must say.
if you had like a Wayne Manor type of situation.
Another thing that we have which is similar.
Man,
Oh, yeah?
hey man, what did we learn?
Scary to think about.
My grandparents taught me the same lesson we learned in Twin Peaks that Dale Cooper taught us. Every day, buy yourself a little, or what is it? Give yourself a little present, something like that. My grandparents said, no matter how poor you are,
Plan it.
don't live poor. Give yourself a little present from time to time, and you'll get through life. You'll
That's
have
why
longevity.
Voltaire goes on a daily basis to the salon.
Well, you make a joke, but to me, getting pedicures is a bit of a gift to myself. Okay, besides the self-care factor, I like having.
Some people might regard it as being a bit effete.
What effete?
Effete, friend.
Effete.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, well, I'm quite confident in my sexuality, and if any women question it, I'm happy to prove to you otherwise. that I'm 100% cis male.
Well, you get women questioning you going to a salon, or
Yeah, they say, "Oh, are you gay?" And I go, "Come over here, love, and I'll show you I'm not gay." She goes, "Oh, I bet you can't." And then I, bend her over and give it to her, and she goes, "Okay, you're right, you're not gay. Okay, you've proven it."
I'm trying to make this show respectable at the moment because I've brought in some select guests, and then you go down this road.
Well, then you accuse me of being a gay homosexual, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm not.
Some people would say I'm not either.
Do you not think there's a middle ground between being so offensive and being effete?
No, why? Because I like to get a pedicure now and again. I love it. Okay, and don't knock it till you've tried it. Why don't you go get one?
With your friend Scotty.
No, I've never done that. Speaking of which, how's your Scott Ryan interview going? Has he responded to your email, or is he still ignoring you?
Frankly, it's gone to shit.
Oh, that's a shame.
Probably thanks to you and various other people.
But thanks to me.
Putting a spanner in the works.
I have not.
I think he only originally agreed to it because he didn't quite realise who I was, because I've changed my name on Facebook to Jim Woodlands or something. Maybe, I don't know. He maybe just answered in a hurry, like,
Yeah, you threw him off the trail, so to speak.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's a shame.
Well, anyway, it doesn't really matter. It's not like, I don't really think we're going to get a load of people going to buy his merchandise or books.
I think he would have bumped
on
his
the basis
sales.
of watching the show, really.
I think he would have bumped his sales at least a good 5 to 10%, which, when he's operating on such small margins, is a big deal.
Well, bearing in mind that the kind of person who could do that more is Cameron. And he actually, there was one person, he did a video last week saying about what had happened with him and being blocked by Scott Ryan.
Oh, Cameron did a video about that?
Yeah, and
I missed it.
And basically,
I am subscribed to his channel.
This person said he went out and bought, or he went online and bought about 8 copies of various magazines. So.
What are you talking about, this person? A guest of Cameron's?
No, just somebody who wrote in the messages.
Did Cameron already take the video down?
No, it's there.
I'll have to check it out.
Our friend Julian Sands is still disappeared into thin air, huh? I guess he ain't coming back.
Well, hold on a second. So the person in the chat said, what, James? I've bought 8 copies of the Blue Rose magazine. I can't believe he blocked you, or something like that. What are you eating, a fucking burrito?
As a result of Cameron promoting the Blue Rose and everything.
Oh,
in the past.
Oh boy. No. Well, that was pretty fucked. We did bring Cameron on, let him give us his side of the story of being blocked, and we gave him a platform here to talk about it. And,
don't make fun of it, because if it
I'm not making fun of it. It was fucked up. What do you want me to say?
It's not. I don't really think it's necessary in the circumstance, but I'm not suggesting that everybody has to get on. But you don't have to just.
Yes, I do.
Without
I suggest
reasoning.
that. I think everybody should get on. All right.
No, but that's unrealistic, because not everybody can they?
They can if they try.
Well, that seems a bit like overly blue sky thinking.
Yeah.
I like the
call me Mr. Blue Skies.
Yeah, that's being slightly unrealistic. That's all.
Mr. Blue.
Because this is the nature of things within these fan communities. It seems like people just adopt these sort of personas where they are either part of the in club, the in group, which is based around a lot of really facile and sort of cool kid kind of behavior, but for a bunch of basically, like dorks.
Oh.
And then,
what?
So if you're not, well, they are, aren't they? I mean, let's be honest.
Dorks? Seems a bit harsh.
Excuse me. What do you mean, dork?
It's like the dork club, though, isn't it? Like, if you get Cameron's basically been told, no, we don't want your kind around here, and that's it. So really, it's not massive like loss on Cameron's part, is it? But but I do think the nature of it, in which it's done and everything, is indicative of what I'm talking about. This dorkiness, It's like if someone's really bothered with something that you're saying or doing, they tell you, don't they? They don't kind of react in this kind of way, just blocking people and things.
Yeah, I don't agree with it personally.
Like with me, I give people loads of chances, and too many, in fact. Really,
Do you?
Many people have said that I'm too nice. You know.
Yeah, you're known for that. Gary calls Scott Ryan a tosser here in the chat. A tosser?
Yeah, well, he's referring to the character you played rather than the actual.
What do you mean? What are you talking about? The character I played? What are you on about? I don't play a character.
It's obviously a bit too complicated for you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I don't appreciate those kinds of
I think you know
implications.
What you did.
I didn't do anything. Now you're just sore because he's shunned
you went online pretending to be Scott Ryan.
I did not. I did not do so. I did no such thing. I mean, you had a guest called Scotty, but I don't think that was Scott Ryan, was it? It was another journalist.
That was you.
No, that was that gentleman was a journalist from San Francisco. Or West Hollywood, was it? I can't remember. I think West Hollywood.
Well, this is about that self-same gentleman, okay?
Okay, go ahead. Let's play a couple of highlights from this. It's only 15 seconds, this video. Oh, that's a commercial. Go ahead. Let's see what Cameron had to say. Hashtag Twin Peaks. Hashtag Scott Ryan.
Correct.
Nothing.
Scott Ryan, the editor-in-chief of the Blue Rose magazine, the author of Your Laura Disappeared and the Moonlighting book and the upcoming Lost Highway book. For whatever reason, because there was no argument, no disagreement, no fight, nothing, decided to block me on Twitter. Even though that I have promoted his magazine and gotten people on this channel to buy his magazine, especially when the sales were incredibly low and he was basically pleading on social media, we need help, we're going to have to shut down. I've done emergency live shows, gotten people to buy his magazine.
He has
purchased his books. And the guy just, for whatever reason, if he didn't like me, fine, I don't care. I mean, it's not like he and I really had a relationship. I think we had one interaction on Messenger once, like 5 years ago, and it was pleasant enough. So, but he could have muted me, but instead he blocked me. You know, I'd rather come home and talk about, I don't know, if David Lynch is working on a new project right now because he hasn't done the weather report in over a month. I mean, that to me is more fun than talking about Scott Ryan blocking me. I mean, the dude, like I said, could have just muted me, pretended I don't exist, like, you know, most of his buddies on social media. I wouldn't have to talk about Scott Ryan having blocked me. I promoted Scott Ryan's books. I promoted his magazine, The Blue Rose. I'm doing it now. Just me talking about this is promoting it. But Scott Ryan has never liked.
By saying that Scott Ryan has blocked you, that is in effect promoting Scott Ryan.
It is.
Myself or any of the people at this channel to write for the Blue Rose magazine. That doesn't mean that, you know, I was like, oh man, I really want to write with the Blue Rose magazine. But, you know, like a lot of people, it's nice to be asked. Especially since some of the people who've written for the Blue Rose magazine are people who never even heard about Twin Peaks until I told them to watch the show. A little bit.
Fucking hell.
You helped me sell like 30 magazines in like a half hour. Thank you. What can I do for you? That's just the kind of world I live in. I believe in helping out someone else and that other person, if it's a possibility, helping you out as well.
Good for
it's nice. It's pleasant. Makes it a community.
30 magazines in half an hour, though.
That's really good numbers.
The Blue Rose magazine.
Where are these numbers, though?
First thing I would have done is reached out to a tremendous amount of the Facebook pages, YouTube accounts, you know, Twitter accounts, whatever, and just saying, hi, everybody. My name's Scott Ryan. I'm creating this magazine a la Wrapped in Plastic. We're going to call it the Blue Rose magazine. I really want to be a part of the overall community and experience of, you know, of all of us watching The Return in the summer of 2017, maybe further if it's a success. Please come forward if you have an idea for an article, an idea for something. And if it's something that we feel like could fit, we'd love to work with you. That would have been wonderful. I'm not talking about just me, just saying in general. That's what I would have done. And the Blue Rose magazine probably would have thrived 10 times more than it ever has because of that. Because you are getting so many people involved that you're going to get their friends, their family, they're going to want to purchase it. But when you get the same 5 or 6 people over and over again writing, this is why magazines go from whatever it is, $9 an issue to 99 cents an issue within 4 weeks. That's what happens. Like, I am definitely not here advocating for Scott Ryan to unblock me. That was his choice. Someone wrote to me, says, why don't you send him an email and explain? I'm like, to say what? To say, hey, he made a mistake, unblock me? No, he purposely and decisively chose to block me. Could have muted me. It's just hilarious to me. I mean, these people are all in their 40s, 50s, a lot of them. And they're talking about a TV show, that was made 30 years ago. And yet they're still playing those middle school or kindergarten games.
Play that next video, Dale Cooper's best advice.
Hey,
about something.
Hey, remind me to show you guys something about Too Old to Die Young, but I gotta take off.
Alrighty.
All right.
Bye, Mandela.
Have a good one, Mandela.
Remind me about that, because
I will.
Hi, Harry. Glad to see me. You're looking for free lunch? I recommend meatloaf. Save it. I'm looking for you. Harry, I'm innocent.
What you are is on parole, Hank. That means that your case officer to visit once a week, Fridays. You miss a visit, go to jail. Got it?
Thanks for the reminder, Sheriff. Stop in any time.
Think people really change, Cooper? I don't.
Oh, afternoon, guys. Would you like some coffee?
Afternoon, Shelley, yes. But we should be on our way.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Every day, once a day, give yourself a present.
Fucking hell! Just what Mandela Man was
wait
talking
for it,
about.
just
And that popped up in your
let it
feed.
happen.
How do you feel about that?
Could be a new shirt at the men's store.
Well,
cat
I'll
nap
say
in
it's
an
not a
office chair,
coincidence.
Or 2 cups of good, hot, black coffee.
All right, anyway, let's get all copyright going off and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to show everybody the great magnet or whatever force that's out there binding us. Obviously. So, and you know what? I will say good for Cameron for creating that video. I think he should publicize these things and he should have his say on it. It's his platform, and give Scott Ryan the old 1-2 buckle your shoe, so to speak.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I think it's just a lack of communication is not helpful. Not helpful in these kind of instances. And yeah, I don't understand the reasoning for it. Really, it's just
The timing is interesting too. So,
You mean before that the festival thing? Then?
I don't know.
It's just a lot of it seems to be surrounding basically ownership issues. From what little I know of the whole thing, like the person who's sort of doing this new Twin Peaks Days festival thing next month is very much, someone who's got a grudge against Cameron for whatever reasons, and she's in close contact with Scott. So,
sounds terrible.
So you know how it is with all of these things. Like if you're in a group of people and everybody's sort of taken against a certain person, then it's pretty easy to just follow along in that fashion, isn't it?
It can be, yeah.
Just to side with everyone.
Get swept away.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm in a completely different country, and so a lot of it can seem all a bit
queer,
peculiar, to say the least. But yeah, and I have different opinions to a lot of these people anyway about how the way they react to things. For instance, she's called in that latest Twin Peaks book that he put out, Scott Ryan, Your Laura Disappeared, all about Firewalk with Me, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really an analysis at all. He just covers a lot of different things and sort of mentions interviews with people and all this kind of thing, really, more than any. It's not analysis, like I said. And she's in it, and it partly mentions her and also Brad Duke saying stuff about, he says watching The Missing Pieces, for instance, made him realize what he wanted was more Twin Peaks back in 1991 as opposed to The Return. And for someone to say that, I don't understand how anyone could be happy with themselves putting that into words and then saying, okay, print that. And then the thing with Mary Hutter, she says, also watching it, she found that the Return was about you can never go home again, that idea. And so, it didn't offer the kind of whatever she wanted from the original show, the warmth or something. And I just think Mary Hutter, frankly, and Brad Dukes, you're completely off the reservation. You're just talking complete bullshit. It's not about that. It's not about you can never go home again. What the fuck are you talking about, basically? It's so much pretentious bullshit, honestly.
So Brad Dukes wrote a controversial piece, but he did have some well thought out discussion pieces as to why he felt the way he did. You know what I mean?
Well, I can't remember what he wrote now, but can you remember anything?
Not off the top of my head, but I do have that issue of that Blue Rose magazine somewhere. I actually did order that one because he had some good, because I'd heard him on a podcast sort of expanding on his thoughts, and I thought it was pretty interesting. Some of the things he said were valid. Like, he felt a lot of the stuff was like a rewrite of the whole time thing, which I get. You know what I mean? I get people having a problem with time travel and dimension jumping in TV and movies. It just kind of gives you an out and sort of cheap way of doing things, But what do you think he meant by when I watched The Missing Pieces?
I'm sorry, that's just no. That's just weak. It's like if anyone watches Twin Peaks: The Return and thinks this is using the idea of time travel in a straight ahead sort of, clear way that is indicating that time travel is really genuinely happening anywhere here, then frankly, I just think you're stretching a point beyond comprehension into just this is what you think you saw. I don't think that Lynch or Frost were in any way using time travel in that kind of way of, this genuinely some kind of time travel element here is just totally open to any kind of interpretation of, it could have been just basically it's all a dream, essentially. It doesn't have to be anything to do with going through a time travel situation. I mean, we didn't see anyone getting into a time travel DeLorean or a time travel machine or anything, did we? So
no, we saw a pot smoke out things and make you go back in time.
Well, that's you just but that's just you making an assumption of things like that scene, for instance, in and of itself. Mr. C walks into that scene, and then also presumably Cooper in the last or penultimate episode. It's like the next door hotel room to the one we saw Teresa Banks and Laura Palmer in Fire Walk with Me. So at what point are hotel rooms supposed to be leading into time travel? It's just you know, why do you assume that? Why do you assume that that machine or whatever that we see with connected to Philip Jeffries is somehow about time travel? I mean, it's not really enough to go on to say that, in my opinion, anyway. It's the amount of things, the amount of ways in which it goes into these sort of just close-ups, zooming into Cooper's face, zooming into, you know, the overlay of his face for about a minute and a half over other things going on. And this is mentioned in the Lynch Oz documentary. It's far more focused in that kind of, into that kind of the mind, you know, and our perception of everything and our perception of reality, basically. It's not about going back to Twin Peaks and everything is much rougher and not what we hoped it was once. I mean, it's not what it's about at all. Because it's just such a lame, crappy thing. Like, if Lynch and Frost had wanted to make the show be about that, they could have gone ahead and made it far more clearly about that. About characters, you know, living in this town and bemoaning the way in which everything had gone downhill around them. So, you know.
All right. It's interesting.
Well, you know, it's just it's surprising. I just find it surprising how there's these so-called kind of hardcore fans, and then they just sort of have these weird takes on things that really just, it's like them trying to say, you know, I'm special, listen to me, I've got this view, which is essentially like trashing everything that came after the point where they were, for a small moment, successful within the Twin Peaks world. Because, you know, as Cameron and myself have covered, we used to be in touch with Dukes, and he said that he was fed up with Twin Peaks after he made his book. Back in, you know, that was after like about 2013, 14 or something. Then suddenly it was announced it was coming back. So, of course, he thinks, probably begrudgingly, oh, I've got to go, you know, I've got to be a part of this again now. So it's just, these people are more concerned with being a part of some kind of fandom rather than what they actually like about it for themselves. Like,
well, maybe not even just
I'm
being
not
a part of
come
that
on these
fan.
shows and tell people that I really like certain scenes in Twin Peaks: The Return just to appear to be cool. I mean, why would I tell people that I really love the scene of Bobby and he goes out of the diner with his gun and then there's a girl being sick in a car and there's Deputy Jesse there, you know, and Jesse's girl. And it's like, I mean, why would I tell anybody? I thought that scene was brilliant, for instance.
Well, why do you always talk
have I
about the
got
Jerry
to-
Horn scenes? Why are you always posting about those?
I wouldn't go as far as to say that the Jerry Horn scenes are beyond anything, above and beyond anything else in the show, apart from the one scene where he's looking on the laptop he's got with him, and he's sitting by a tree, and he's looking at Dr. Jacoby. So, yeah, that bit. I don't need to keep rewatching him talking to his foot, speaking in a high voice and things.
I thought you loved it.
I don't have the level of hatred that you seem to have. But you know, yeah, I thought it was okay, but I wasn't. I mean, I don't know. You've made me kind of lose my ability to think for a moment now. Anyway.
So you were just making the point. I think there's some validity to that. These people in these communities, they don't just want to be part of the community. They want to be held out as experts of the community because they've really analyzed everything. You know what I mean? So it's more than just they want to be people. They want to be standouts and, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I will say with Scott Ryan, he definitely doesn't want to be that. In his books that I've read of his, and he's very much into just basically, to use a sort of a word from Mandela Man, of cataloguing everything in the sense of his fandom and things like that. Like he's putting pictures of the cinema where he saw Fire Walk with Me. He's putting a picture of all these collectibles from Fire Walk with Me, which he got when it was released on video. I.e., there was like a container for drinks, you know, coffee, and then the video, Sandy, and a few other things. I can't remember, a T-shirt, basically, this kind of thing. And, you know, honestly, at this point now, to put that into a book, I must say, the general impression I get is that Scott seems to be enjoying doing his 30-something book more than this kind of stuff. Or,
oh boy,
his Moonlighting book, which actually was pretty successful in a more mainstream fashion, you know, like got into some charts and
really
was mentioned by the New York Times and stuff like this. Yeah, I mean, nobody gives a shit about a Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me book, do they? To be honest,
that's fine, but there's more buzz for a Moonlighting book. Really, I wouldn't have guessed that.
I think it may have been like the anniversary or something like this, but yeah, there was some buzz for it at least, and I wish him really well. I mean, you see, with me buying that book, the Fire Walk With Me book, and I decided I've got to look through it now and really, like, I kind of got just fed up of all this stuff. Like, if it's not an analysis of what we saw on screen, then I'm just sort of a bit bored with it all. But
well, wait, if it's not because I haven't read the book, if it's not an analysis of what we saw on screen, then what is it?
Let me just go to it now. It's like, this is the book we're talking about. It's just, it gives you basically he gives you a whole comparison between script 1 and script 2, for instance.
What, he goes through and points out all the differences?
Mm.
Well, I would actually be interested in reading that. Does he give any reasons for the changes, or does he just point them out?
He does actually mention, for instance, that he didn't like the original script that had Laura sitting in Cooper's lap and also Laura appearing in Cooper's bed, or the other way around, I mean, Cooper appearing in Laura's bed, which I actually disagree with. I think they should have stuck with what the first script said, because I think, you know, what they put in that first script was their true intention, and they just sort of went back on it a bit.
Well, you make a good point there. If the original idea was for him in her bed, and her on his lap, they certainly wanted to imply something completely different than what was shown. Interesting.
No, but this kind of writing, for instance, here is just really, really like just annoying for me, and like wouldn't pass muster anywhere, I don't think, if it wasn't just self-published. This kind of thing, for instance. Over the past 5 years, I've inexplicably been fortunate enough to get to know Cheryl Lee. That is one question in A World of Blue that has been answered. Like, Jesus Christ, Scott, no. That is one question in A World of Blue. Like, what? I no longer am baffled by what Cheryl Lee did. I know how she did it. She did it because she is just that good. She is that honest. She is and isn't Laura Palmer. It is as confounding as she's dead, yet she lives. That is Cheryl Lee. After each word there, that is Cheryl Lee. I mean, it's just embarrassing, honestly. It's like literally as bad as something from it's beyond parody, like from one of those films that you're talking about, you know, Best in Show and all that kind of thing. It's just,
I love Best in Show.
You know, I mean, there's some good stuff in there, obviously, but that is Cheryl Lee. What are you talking about? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff about the soundtrack. It's all just very much coverage, and then there are quite a few interviews as well. So
now, hang on. Cameron says there is a false fact stated on page 1, sadly. Also, Mary Sweeney pimp slaps him during an interview with her. Were you aware of this?
On page 1, I don't know about which.
He says, it looks like he goes on to expand. Scott Ryan states that Cheryl Lee gives the best performance in film. And Mary says, no, she doesn't. Why would you put that in a book? Does he say it's the best performance in film, not the film? best performance in film, implying it's the best performance ever.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. If people have this
Did
level
he put that?
of,
Is that on page 1, as Cameron says? I'm just curious.
that's not necessarily the page 1 thing. That's what he said in the interview with Mary Sweeney. He says it's the best performance in film ever, that kind of thing. He probably did say that to Mary Sweeney. He does say it elsewhere in the book, though. Yeah.
Cameron says it's on page 1. And then he also says Ebert never reviewed the film, and Scott Ryan says he did. Woof, that's a bit of an error. That's quite an error.
Well, I'm looking at page 1, the one that says page 1 on it, and it doesn't say anything about that. So that's Cheryl Lee.
All right.
But again, I was quite disappointed with this book overall, I'll say. But at the end of the day, what it is, it comprises a bunch of articles that would have been in the magazines. And I think if you're going to decide to put something into a book form, you have to have something a bit more weighty than just that, even if it is incredibly...
So more breadth. You want more breadth to that kind of thing.
Well, I want more than somebody just sort of saying stuff like that kind of stuff that I was just talking about with Cheryl Lee, and just creating this sort of... It just sounds really immature, like something you'd write when you were about 15 rather than a grown person. So that is an interesting aspect of where are some of these people like really just stunted in some way in their teen years in some sense. Because, I mean, the idea that Cheryl Lee gives the best performance in any film ever in itself is, of course, ridiculous. I can see how he could say it to just get a result, an effect off of somebody, a reaction, I mean. But anyway, it's a book you can buy, just have a look at if you're interested, for sure. But SR states that Cheryl Lee gives the best performance. I think you mean, I don't know why Cameron started that off with SR. Scott Ryan. Oh, Scott Ryan. Sorry. Yeah,
Bloody hell.
Ryan. Sorry, I'm losing my mind.
I think so.
This whole thing's driving me over the edge. But
it's put you into a tizzy.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. I mean, the whole thing is like... It's the kind of coverage you'd give to the film back in the 90s, soon after it came out and everything, that level of interest in it. The kind of topics and things. Like, I think if you're going to be covering the film 30 years later, then you've got to find a new way of doing it, for sure. So, you've really got to come with a whole new spin on it.
Interesting. And wasn't there some controversy because he wasn't going to include missing pieces initially, and then he changed his mind or something like that?
I don't think I'm stunted, Millie, in that sense because of anything to do with Twin Peaks, personally. I don't know why. To be stunted, I don't think it's anything to celebrate either, as well. And I genuinely don't think, I hope, and certainly I don't think, many people around here are stunted. So I don't know in what sense you mean you're stunted, though. So I think some of these fans who go to these festivals and stuff, yeah, they are a bit stunted, possibly in terms of their like maturity levels, but I don't know. I mean, I've been to them and stuff, and I must say I didn't feel a part of it, but then other people didn't feel a part of it there either. So, that could be just some people like that kind of stuff, some people don't. So, I mean, I don't know. For me, I think if someone goes and sees the Avatar films, they're kind of stunted in some sense. But on the other hand, if they enjoy it, who am I to say anything? It's just different strokes for different folks, isn't it? Really.
Mm-hmm.
Should we have a look at this advert then? Or...
Which one? Oh, the Jane Fonda thing? Or the Barbarella?
Jane Fonda, isn't it?
Yeah, no. Yeah, we can watch that.
Maybe keep pausing it quite a bit and stuff. Try and get it.
Yeah, let's do that. I'll do that.
Barbarella's back?
This is not. This is just one of their produced whatchamacallits. This is hilarious. Okay, sorry.
No, it's all right then. Don't matter.
Yeah, this is an article that a video they've done.
It's just like a kind of, brand new breaking news type thing, but
Yeah.
old footage. So. Gary actually says burn it, but I mean, the thing is, when you do get into just this self-publishing kind of area, and the quality is always going to be up and down, I suppose. But I did give the Brad Dukes book away because I wasn't going to read it again, and so yeah.
Did you? Well, that's nice of you. Did you leave it in that phone box, or did you give it to a fan?
Yeah, I did put it into the phone box, and it just went. So,
no, somebody
so
actually
it would have either been someone maybe took it or it got recycled. I don't know.
Golly. Huh. All right. Just not much. I'm saying there's not much going on as far as movie news, really. It's all superhero stuff, which is,
Well, it's the kind of pages you're looking at, of course. So.
I mean, well, yeah. So I guess that might be part of it.
I don't think it's part of it. I know it's part of it.
No, I mean, Screen Rant is not focused just on the superhero stuff, I will say. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Well, I'm happy to say that I'm wrong, to be honest. I think that's part of growing, really.
Okay, well, here's great movies that got 0 Oscar nominations.
All right, don't forget that, please. That's
Frankenstein! Bloody hell! King Bloody Kong! Duck Soup!
Right.
Fuck.
No, I was serious when I said take it off the screen. I'm not.
I'm curious now if there's anything I feel like should have been.
Okay, then.
The Shining got no nominations. Golly. The Breakfast Club, I don't know. All right, whatever. Dances with Wolves was not a bad movie. How could they say that's the worst Oscar-winning film? That's terrible. Green Book. Ugh. I saw Green Book. It was that's an example of the Oscars not knowing how to nominate films. Birdman was nothing great either. Anyway, I'm not familiar with Wolfpack Charlotte. I'm not aware of what that is actually. What is that? Are you familiar with that, James?
No.
Let's see. It is a TV show. Looks like a paranormal thing about presumably whatever werewolves. Okay, that sounds interesting. I'll see if I can find it somewhere streaming easily. Anyway, so I don't know. I don't really have any other topics. If you want to call it for the evening, you know what I mean? Or if there's something else you wanted to talk about in particular.
No, have you not watched anything this week then? Because I don't think you've mentioned anything you've watched this week. I mean,
I watched the Pinocchio movie, the Benicio del Toro Pinocchio film. That's about it, really. Megan is now available to watch at home. It's already available for streaming. I like that.
I watched Drive again last night.
Oh, did you?
And then on Netflix, it recommended another Ryan Gosling earlier film called The Believer. Have you ever seen that one?
No, I've not heard of it. Really?
The Believer. It's where he plays a neo-Nazi who's actually Jewish. But, so.
Oh, really? So wait, on rewatch of Drive, I'm curious. What did you think of it? Did you have any thoughts?
Well, it's interesting. I think the portrayal of like lead characters who have next to nothing in terms of personality is interesting for sure in reference films. So like the way he relates and everything, he says it to the female Carey Mulligan and her son. You're the best thing that's happened to me ever. Like you're just thinking, how drab must his whole life have been? At least he's acknowledging that and everything, but it's, and I mean, for reference films, he's a more almost bordering on talking, at least, I suppose. But yeah, it's a good film, though. I like it a lot. I mean, the way it portrays this sort of distance between the characters and everything is really good, and the mood of it and depiction of LA and everything. I mean, I can't imagine it's really like that if you're actually in LA, though. It almost seems sort of at times nostalgic in some sense of the old Hollywood a bit, but
I don't remember actually how that film seemed, if that seemed accurate to me or not. I'll have to rewatch it again. Or rewatch it.
Well, anyway, I haven't watched any more of the Stockholm's what's it called? Copenhagen Cowboy. I mean, sorry.
The Stockholm Gunslinger. That's another one that's coming out later on. That's a sequel.
So, in terms of Ashton, she has actually sent me a script for a follow-up to Showgirls that she's writing.
Yeah, interesting concept.
Do you know what it's called? Showgirls Redress.
Yes.
Has she actually sent any of it to you?
I don't know what I mean, what I'm supposed to talk about. I haven't read anything.
Oh no, she hasn't sent it to you. No, I just thought I'd mention that. That's all. I don't know. I've read it through somewhat, and it is quite passionate at the start, but it's not full on anything hardcore necessarily, that was specifically what I asked for when it came into my inbox. I'll await further, further installments of it.
Yeah, Ashton just send it to me. I have not read it though.
Well, that's not very good, is it?
Well, she only sent it to me this morning. What would you have me do? It's an interesting concept.
Well, I know that you were very keen on the film Showgirl.
My thoughts on that film are...
yeah, I know there's a Showgirls too. I've outlined that to Ashton. So this would be a superior sequel to Showgirls.
Did you see Showgirls 2 in the cinema?
I've not seen any Showgirls in the cinema.
Well, you really need to see that film on the cinema. All right? You need to see that flange nonstop.
I don't think you see any flange.
What's that scene? What's that actor's name? Bobby, the guy who plays the club manager. He goes, where he's laying out to her at there's a scene where he's laying out. Okay, you come in here, $50 and a blowjob to me every whatever. It's hilarious. What's that actor's name? Bobby. Damn it. I can't remember his name, but his name is Bobby something or other. But you know the character I'm talking about, right? The sleazy club owner.
Come on, somebody in the chat, tell us who this is, please.
I'll find out. Bobby, not. Geez, it's gonna bother me. I'll find the scene.
I don't know who you're talking about. Robert Davey, yeah.
Robert Davi, you're not Bobby. Hang on, I've got the clip here. This is one of the best things.
I think my hearing's gone so bad I can't even hear anything now. So it keeps sounding like you've just gone. But
Wait, you can't hear me?
Well, when you're quiet, I can't know.
I was looking for. I found something. I didn't know you took. I thought my screen was still up. Put my screen back up for me, would you? I was looking for something. It's not Robert Briggs. Robert Davi. Yes, that's correct. This is the scene. It's one of the greatest scenes in film right here.
No.
Gotta talk them into it, okay? $50 a pop, you take them in the back. Touch and go. They touch, they go. You can touch them, they cannot touch you.
Oh, that's good.
Now, if they come, it's okay. If they take it out, come all over you, call a bouncer. If he gives you a big tip, it's okay. You got that?
Okay.
And you, where the fuck were you last night?
I was having my period, Al. You don't want me to get blood all over the place. Do you?
Getting real tired of your shit, kid. If you want to last longer than a week, you give me a blowjob.
This is just how this film isn't more celebrated. I'll never
First I give you the
understand.
money, then I make you swallow.
Was he serious? No.
All right, there you go. I mean, honestly, that's Robert Davi. Great actor. Actually, you know what? I think Robert Davi is the guy who did he produce or direct that Joe Hunter Biden film that came out? That I think that's what he's gone on to do.
Well, I don't know anything about that. So,
Hmm.
I mean, he was very good in License to Kill, actually, as Dan Peake's mentioning. So.
Yeah, indeed. He's a good actor. He's fine. He's good. I mean, I'm mocking, but he's good in this for what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be a sleazy club owner.
Why would you think that the pool scene was the best sex scenes ever, Ashton? I mean, not really. Come on.
Well,
That was ridiculous. It looked like she was having some kind of mental epileptic moment or something. Thrashing all over the place like some kind of... It was an outtake from Exorcist 2. That's what we're talking about. Where she's with Carl McLaughlin and everything, and she's like thrashing backwards and forwards.
Sounds erotic. I don't remember it very
It's not
well.
erotic. It's more like it's disturbing.
Well, you said the sex scene between Cooper and Diane in season 3 was one of your favorite sex scenes of all time. You thought it was very romantic.
Yeah, of course. Definitely. Yeah. What do I do? What do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
Take off your clothes.
Yeah. It's tremendous dialogue. And just because maybe Ashton likes, I don't know, maybe I'll rewatch the scene and let's see. Is there? I have Showgirls on VHS, of course, and I'll pop that in and watch it later.
It's the superior format to catch all of the details, I think.
For this kind of film, for sure. Like how you say, oh, you got to watch it on the cinema. I say, no, you got to watch it on CRT, VHS player with a CRT type screen.
Yeah, in a room that smells of rank cigarette odors and. Oh,
that's cool. Perfect.
cheap air freshener.
Yeah,
And
cigarettes.
then Brute as well.
I was going to say some cheap cologne. Yeah, why not?
Well, thanks for showing that scene, actually. It was quite sexy. Some of Robert Davi's talk. It was like as if they'd just been shown the script like 5 minutes before they shot the film.
It's funny. It's just one of those things. Like the dialogue is so ridiculous that I have.
There's no emotion in any of it. It's just sort of, and then their reactions as well. It's like they're
oh yeah.
like at first when she gives that Gina Gershon, she just gives a big smile at the first. She goes, "That's good."
Well, she's supposed to be the naive new girl, whereas at this point, what's her name has become, she knows the score. She knows what's going on.
She looks a bit. She doesn't look really young enough to be like the naive young girl, really. But anyway, the film's not supposed to be a documentary, I suppose.
It is very realistic.
Well, what about that scene? Put up that scene where they're eating the dinner with the fries, and she starts throwing the fries everywhere.
Oh, remember she calls her the dress Versace or Versace or Versace. It's got some very good things in it.
Well, yeah, it's got a very good director who knew what he was doing. He was deliberately making a film which could be viewed as one of the turkeys, Razzies. But he did the same thing with Starship Troopers, but that film is more highly praised, really, I suppose, than Showgirls.
Is this the scene here? I can't remember.
No, it's where they're at more of a like diner type place.
Order for you.
Don't they have brown rice and vegetables?
Gotta get makeup. Golly.
No, it's like just put it as like Fry's diner scene or something. Showgirls. I think that the director must have seen Elizabeth Berkley in Saved by the Bell, especially her scene where she says, "I'm just so excited."
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen that one bit where she goes?
Of course I have. I'm so scared.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so scared. I actually do that every morning when I wake up.
She's playing Jessie Spanos.
Oh, you can't bloody find it, can you?
No, I can't.
Cinema of Camp. What's that all about? I thought this film was as straight as hell.
It's not camp at all. Why Showgirls is the best movie ever. There you go.
I remember thinking that back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sorry. Look at this guy, the untold truth about tipping Vegas showgirls. Look at him. He just looks like he's sleazy.
What a sick bastard. Most of it's set in actually Las Vegas, right?
What do you mean?
Showgirls, it's mostly filmed in.
I would think so. It looks very accurate to Vegas. Yeah, well, sorry, I can't find your scene.
I think I found it anyway.
Oh, good.
We'll just put that on and then
put it up. Yeah, go ahead.
It's off of actually VHS quality, so that's ideal for us, really.
Oh, she directed Showgirls too, that actress. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Well, it's not interesting if you see it. So. It's just straight to video type of thing.
Sir,
What was in your suitcase?
Nothing. Just stuff. Everything I had. I just got here.
Welcome to Vegas. You know anybody here? You got any family that you can call?
I don't have any family.
Uh-oh.
Where are you from?
Back east.
From where back east?
I'm thank you. I forgot this part. I can imagine you doing that at a lunch with somebody. Pretty.
Look,
Just throws the fries all over herself.
you can stay
Because
with
she
me
asked
if you
what
need
part of
a
the where are you from?
It's not much until you get a job.
She's been too specific, intrusive, if anything.
Are you hitting on me?
No. Not a hooker, are you?
No.
How many times have you asked a lady that on a first date? You know, a hooker, are you? I don't pay for that shit.
Mm. I'm a bit, worried about what's happening with Ashton. She seems to be trying to infiltrate the coffee time world.
She's welcome to it. Seems like an interesting and positive young lady. So nothing wrong with that.
No, positivity is what we all need. I think.
I think so. She has
key.
youthful, positive energy. That's good.
Cameron is bringing in the facts. Showgirls, Con Air, and Casino were filming at the same time in Las Vegas.
3 amazing films.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Con Air is a fantastic film. Don't say otherwise.
Oh no, I thought that I saw it in the cinema.
Yeah, it's an amazing film.
And I actually saw it in the cinema where this new film that's come out called, what's it called? The new one, anyway, by Sam Mendes, Empire of something, Empire of Light or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was filmed in the actual cinema where I went, a lot of it. So
really,
where my friend had his wedding this year and stuff, yeah, in Margate. Yeah.
Oh, right.
When I was down there, they put all like white all over the one side of the pavement there next to the cinema and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen that there are scenes in the film that are shot in, fake snow. So
wonderful.
I don't know why they didn't ask me to be in it when they saw me walking by. But,
Yeah, weren't you accosted by a park bench because you look like, oi, you look like you could be in a film?
Yeah, I was actually.
Mm-hmm.
And Ashton's also written a Daughter of the Devil. So that sounds interesting, particularly with my interest in Ashton. If you've not, I would recommend you to watch the film Exorcist 2, The Heretic. The Heretic.
But how do you even know if she's seen Exorcist 1? You can't push her right to the sequel.
I would have no problems with her watching the sequel first. What is the to lose? It's like saying, don't watch Police Academy 4 before the first one.
Yeah, you'll be lost. You'll be lost.
No, you wouldn't. They're all self-contained stories, basically.
Okay. Well, good news. She's seen the first one, so she's okay.
Jump straight into the second one, and you will be guaranteed a lot of fun. Let me tell you.
Is that the one with the nun scene in the hospital where the?
No, that's Exorcist 3, which came in 1990. So, which many people regard as being the true sequel to The Exorcist, but
yeah, some guy on Twitter,
just doofuses and avid fan idiots.
Yeah. Oh my goodness! So some guy on Twitter was posting scenes from Exorcist 3 and talking about how brilliantly it was directed and posting like examples of whatever. And that was one of the scenes, and that was you have to admit that was a great scene. The other scene he pointed to is the lady crawling up on the ceiling there, and the guy was not breaking, the way he acted the scene, and he's right. There were some very memorable scenes in Exorcist 3. It's not just a Jeffrey Dahmer favorite. A lot of people do like it.
I mean, you've got to watch the whole film really to be.
I have seen the whole film. I didn't even know I had seen the whole film until he started posting those clips. I'm like, I've seen these clips. Those. So I have seen. I hadn't thought that I'd seen it, but certainly I'd seen this. That's why I didn't even know what part, which one of the Exorcists that was from. I had to tell you, and you with your love of.
I really like Exorcist. I really like Exorcist 3, but at the same time, it feels somewhat hampered by the time it came out in. It and knowing that they basically filmed, a one whole movie beforehand and then changed it. That probably explains a lot of it. So
I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that some of the changes they made were for the best, but it's sort of got a bit of that like 1990 feel about it in its pacing and everything. Like it could have been slower paced, perhaps.
Mm.
So, I mean, it does use slow sequences, like the build up to when that the nurse, the nun with those shears appears, but mostly the film keeps kind of up a bit of a pace, like it's just trying to fit in with that kind of time of filmmaking. But William Peter Blatty, he was the original writer. I do think he was a good director, but I wouldn't start saying that he's a superior director to sort of William Friedkin, who made the first one. So if you watched the second one, I'd be interested to know what your view was of John Borman's.
I don't know now, but maybe I should go back.
It stands out as being completely detached from anything to do with the first film, and it's really just its own thing. But some of it is quite laughable in its like the wild approach to whatever somebody would be thinking, like whether they were just smoking way too much weed or something, like, oh yeah, we've got to have like this, just not thinking how it's going to appear to people in the cinema. Just having close-up shots of locusts right up next to the camera, flying through the air, and then James Earl Jones dressed up as a big locust as well, things like that. So.
Okay, I'll have to check it out. I'm trying to see if I can find this guy's posts on Twitter. Whatever.
Oh, I don't matter.
Yeah, I can't. It's not readily available to me. So, anyway, he was just talking about the direction of it and how impressive it was. So, makes you think a little more. And I don't know if that's because
there are definite shots and things in there which are really just, you wish all films would had that much care taken over them and trying to be at least to do something a bit different. There's this whole sequence where it's in a sort of his office or something, or some religious officers, and then eventually cuts to in one scene in the hospital, there's a statue with its head cut off, which is blink and you'll miss it. And then there's this one statue where they've made like the head of the figure into like looking like kind of like the old Joker, in Batman.
Mm-hmm. I've actually found the threads, but go ahead.
Huge knife and stuff. So.
Yeah.
And it's just there. It's just in passing, and it's like, what? What is this? What's that there for?
Mm-hmm. Put up my screen for a bit if you can. Now, Ashton, you're going to insult James by accusing him of not seeing the original Suspiria. He'll get very sore with you for bloody hell. I've watched it. All right, so another thing, he's just saying, look, these visual effects.
Well, she could be just saying that to everyone. I mean, I thank Ashton for her enthusiasm.
I do too. See, this is good, and he's right. This does hold up for something like that. It's still very creepy, and movies of Hereditary copied this. This is, if you think, I hadn't thought about it till I resaw this, but that scene in Hereditary, the one I'm talking about, where she's on the ceiling. This is straight lifted from The Exorcist 3. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
And look, it's George C. Scott. Look at him.
Oh, I'm sorry, I just need to go for 1 second. Sorry.
For fuck's sake. Jesus Christ, man. Sorry, everybody. James is experiencing explosive diarrhea, which often happens when he discusses The Exorcist 3. Dan Peak says, I really like Paul Schrader, but wasn't a fan of Dominion, the Exorcist prequel, although I remember the World War II flashback scene was interesting. Yeah, this that was a one, Dad. That was an emergency one. That was a skid mark maker, that's for sure. So I'm still very immature. That I still find these sorts of things funny. Let's see here. This is
Every crawling, putrid thing, every possible ugliness and corruption, you son of a bitch!
this is what he was saying to James, dropping those wet farts.
I believe in slime.
Anyway, so I don't know. Poor Jason had to say this is why you want to have a bidet. Put a bidet attachment on your toilet. It'll help you out. You get into a situation like James is in, where he's had an accident. The bidet will sort you right out. You won't have to worry about. You won't have to jump in the shower. You know, if you have that kind of an accident or something. You know, so let's see here. And so this is the scene. This is a terrifying scene, and everybody's seen this. And and they've also got some scenes of how it was filmed. But let's wait a second. I'll go back to the original scene. Jesus, that was fake.
Sorry.
That was very obviously fake.
Oh.
There's that headless Jesus you were talking about.
Well, yeah, it is in an earlier shot as well. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
It's briefly shown in passing. So yeah, you're right there.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and I you know.
Sorry about that problem. I've got a few problems with my anus.
A few, yes. Indeed.
I hope nobody who was...
hope nobody was eating.
I hope nobody who was attracted to me before that is now not.
I can't imagine that would have any negative effect.
Don't let my my problem of unending affluence, you know, stunt your love for me. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And also remember,
go on.
As Bono said, well, tonight, thank God it's you instead. Oh, no, it's them instead of you. I can't sing it now. Sorry.
Right, that's correct. Although they took that line out of the 2000 remake.
They did. They changed it.
Yeah. Because I guess they thought it was too harsh. They also took out...
they changed it to... But tonight, thank God it's me shitting myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was actually during the 2000s when Bono had a well-known diarrhea problem often.
Of the mouth, for sure.
Well, on stage, when he was singing the song Elevation, sometimes he had to literally be elevated off the stage because there was so much shit all over the dance floor.
Okay.
You know, like Michael Jackson had that song Blood on the Dance Floor.
No, I'm not
with
familiar
with Bono, it was shit on the dance floor. I mean, come on, you must have had experiences of this kind of thing.
What kind of thing? Shitting on the dance floor? No, I've never shit on a dance floor.
It happens regularly in Derby.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hell.
Fucking hell.
So are you saying now that 2 coffee time chats are going on strong simultaneously?
Well, that's Gary saying that, I think. Gary has a good question. Did you spray some Mandate around the house to sort of cover up the melodious, terrible odor that must be emanating all over your flat now? Spray some Mandate in
I've
the
had
air?
to I've had to spray a large quantity of Mandate around every nook and cranny.
I would imagine.
It smells now like a mixture of diarrhea with a faint smell of Mandate, which is always the kind of home I like to invite. Any
Yeah,
conquest
sure.
back to.
That smell mixed with that, yeah. Maybe you don't smoke, but you could light up a cigarette just to add the cigarette smell in there too. And you're talking about
Yeah,
a real potpourri.
just smoke a cigar heavily for about 1 hour solid.
Right.
A very big one.
Mm-hmm.
That would get the air rich with the smell of just beautiful odors. Anyway, can you please stop showing that image?
Is it giving you nightmares?
No, it's just ruining the whole film now for everybody who's not seen the film.
Well, I mean, did you see this one where there's some behind the scenes footage of the shooting of that scene, which is actually pretty interesting.
Well, I bought the actual double disc, the 2-disc Blu-ray of this. Yeah, I've seen this stuff before. Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, they had those made for the film. You know, those shears or whatever you call them. Believe it or not, these are not generally used in medical practice.
I thought that was a standard thing they used. Cut
lopping off limbs or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like something you'd use on a hedge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although a bit heavy duty for even that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like the original version of it, basically, it just had Brad Dourif in it as the killer, and he's the Gemini killer talking to him in the cell.
Mm-hmm.
And the studio said, like, well, the audience aren't going to understand what this is all about if it doesn't have any connection to the original Exorcist. So they had it that the Gemini killer had jumped into the body of Damien Karras when he was lying at the bottom of the steps.
Interesting.
And then he actually jumped out of a grave when he was like down in the soil and underneath. He dug out and everything. They don't show that, but
no. So this guy William McCrabb, who posted these, I mean, I thought he was cool, but then he has this line here. I remember once in the 90s, I went to a bar for karaoke night. I picked Like a Prayer, presumably the Madonna song, and instead of singing, I screamed this monologue line from the movie. They kicked me out. Like this is a bullshit story. This is not a clever little comment. And if he actually did do this line from The Exorcist instead of singing Like a Prayer, then he's just a twat, really. So I don't know who this fella is. Will McCrabb. Let's take a look if he's got anything. I don't know half of you half as well as I should like, and I like less. All right, whatever. Oof, this guy's a real, but he's got 16,000 followers. Oh, he's followed by Welcome to Twin Peaks. He's one of your people. Well, he likes these 80s and 90s horror films that you love.
Well, I don't even know what the film that is.
That's The Thing.
Oh, right. Well, the Thing is a completely different kind of film to Exorcist 3, isn't it? So, but it's a good film, yeah, for sure. Now it's Heat.
Mm-hmm. He actually, he does interesting analysis. It looks like he takes certain shots from movies and talks and blows a load all over them. That's interesting. And maybe I'll give him a follow. Actually, I don't mind stuff like that too much. Munich.
as long as it doesn't make you too angry. Could give you some ideas for viewing anyway.
Yeah, well, that's. He made me want to rewatch The Exorcist 3. So there you go. This is one of your favorite movies, A Quick and the Dead, starring Sharon Stone.
I'm not even very familiar with that film, unfortunately. So.
I didn't know it was a Sam Raimi film.
No, it must. I bet it's a good film, but
Have you ever done this to somebody? They're eating a pizza pie?
That's heat, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I could see you doing that to somebody.
Not because they complained about the smell of effluence coming from
Yeah,
it.
that's right. You'll eat that pie!
It looked like the guy with the long hair was like eating a large plate of spaghetti or something. So.
Mm-hmm. Really, is that true? They cut between the two actors. That's interesting.
Actually, one thing I did notice in Drive that seemed peculiar was, in it, this one scene where Russ Tamblyn is in it. Just, he doesn't appear for very long or anything. He's just taking the bullets out of Ryan Gosling's back and everything.
Mm-hmm.
In the scene when they're in the motel on their own, just Ryan Gosling and Christina Hendricks, and he gets angry because he knows that she's lying to him, and he puts on his gloves, and then he just stands over her and then slaps her really hard or something.
Oh, really?
And then says he's holding his fist up to say, wait, are you lying or something? The way she speaks at that point is exactly the same sort of, and everything about it, even down to the way that she looks as well, because she's, red haired, to how Doria reacts in The Return to Mr. C.
Is that right?
It just makes me wonder if Lynch just sits there with a notebook and goes, okay, I'll do this scene as well, and I'll just copy it for a laugh.
That's really interesting that you bring that up, actually. That it reminded you that. Because
that film must be so... I don't know. It's like, the reference films are beyond, they literally feel like a tribute to Lynch, often.
Often.
What?
Yeah, often it does. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
Sorry, just the way the sound came through. It sounded like you were making fun of my accent by going often?
This is the sequence you're talking about, right?
Yeah, it's just. I don't know. It's
an attempted robbery turned tragic today when the owner of a local pawn shop opened fire on an intruder. The armed robber was pronounced here, but the owner of the pawn shop told reporters that Gabrielle acted alone.
Why is it
that
going so
no
slow?
money had been stolen. In other news, 4 high school athletes were arrested.
If he saw you take the money and he saw you get in the car.
You know what? You're right. I already sensed that you're right.
I have no idea.
Well, the way these two actresses do that scared voice is no doubt just similar anyway, but, it's kind of...
It's reminiscent, that's for sure.
It seems
What year
like
was this film?
2011, I think.
Jesus.
I already told you everything.
Oh, bloody hell.
Now you just got a little boy's father killed. You almost got us killed. And now you're lying to me. So how about this? From now on, every word out of your mouth is the truth. Or I'm gonna hurt you.
Yeah, see, Refn has a certain style, doesn't he? I mean, this is these sorts of themes. You know what I mean? This sort of the way he does violence and that kind of thing.
Do you understand? Now what did Cook tell you?
He said there would be another car to hold us up.
Ollie, you're very right, James. You're 100% right. This is very much like that Darius scene.
But he didn't say anything about it.
You were gonna rip us off?
Yeah, they both do that crying and talking thing at the same time.
Even this, the way he's got his hand here.
Apparently, the way that like Lynch was a fan of Mad Men, and of course that's what she's known for primarily. So,
well, she is a Lynch type of woman. Truthfully,
it's like as if Lynch seems to he enjoys recycling things in this sort of way of like there's just infinite numbers of scenes that occur in films, and but trying to sort of just celebrate that in a strange way. But
I would never have connected these two things, but the whole thing of being in a cheap motel and with a redhead and
well, I mean, the fact that Russ Tamlin's in the film and that the film is so sort of seductively atmospheric in a very Lynchian way. But I mean, obviously, I'm not suggesting it is 100% like a Lynch film at all. It's very much, like Refn. He brings his own thing to it, but
well, I mean, this was first.
Some of the action sequences in this film are really as good as you're going to get in many action films, really. So,
and he's not an action director. It's what's interesting. It's just it's good. The movie has a lot more depth. Although, if you didn't know any better, you would think it's just an action film. But the film has a lot of depth to it. As you know, sorry. Yeah, indeed. 49ers are getting their asses kicked. This is a really sorry. This is a really interesting observation you've made, though.
What's his real name?
He says it's Chris Patch's Congo.
Well, considering that this scene is like the prelude to the sort of apex of violence in the film, where she literally gets her head blown off, basically, or apart. Do
you understand?
It's the sort of thing that Lynch would. Yeah, I'm not suggesting that Lynch has a notebook and he just goes, right, I'm going to copy this to copy that. Like these people who go, he's looking at these old paintings and then just repeating.
So I don't even think he knows he does it, but I think he saw this scene and it stuck with him somehow, or some part of his brain it registered, because this is awfully close.
The thing is, yeah, because often, I mean, in those early scenes and the whole thing with stereotypical underworld that we imagine in a lot of these B-movie films and all that, But I mean, but done Lynch style, and then it kind of went off into its own thing anyway. Really, after that, straight away it went into him, using the computer and all that business. That was
yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely interesting. I think that I don't know. Sometimes it'd be good to hear Lynch talk about other filmmakers. Films like this, but if you prepared, at least
I'd be fascinated to know that.
Why wouldn't he have things to say? I mean, come on.
I'd be fascinated to know if Lynch was a Refn fan. I'd be very interested to know.
Maybe I don't think Refn's actually directing all these films. He's bringing Lynch in sometimes and saying, "You do it."
They're out there smoking a cigarette. He goes, "Here, you do this part."
Lynch says, "I'll do all the scenes that are outside because I want to smoke constantly." Okay. Yeah. All right then. Well, yeah, this new 90s show, I've no idea what the hell that's all about. But
what do you mean? It's a continuation of that 70s show. They're adults now, and they have children of their own. And Netflix has wisely brought the show. It's not a bad idea for a show. Bring these characters back. That people like that show, and now they're adults and they've all had children. And so it's the 90s show. They're in it, though, the original cast, apparently.
Well, it's probably better than the Connors. That's all I can imagine. But...
Oh, my goodness, yeah. Well, 4 out of 10 from Pimpin' X, everybody.
Pimpin' X is giving it 4 out of 10.
Well, he has 4 out of 10 bags of popcorn.
Well, it's not really much of a vote, though, is it? Really, for it. So
It's an honest review, but it was surprisingly watchable, according to him.
but is anyone in it actually known?
The original cast:
Yeah.
Ashton Kutcher, Mia Kunis. What's
All
that
right,
guy?
but they're not in it that much, are they? Probably, but
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're actually in it. Netflix doesn't fuck around when they do these revivals.
oh, you know, here earlier though, guess who was on our TV screens on BBC One during a football match?
Ew! Who was it?
Ryan, no, Ryan Rosling, no, Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Rosling. Oh, wow.
I don't know who he is.
Oh.
Yeah, Wrexham. You know, he has.
Yeah, he bought him and the guy from Sunny in Philadelphia bought a soccer team.
Yeah.
There's a TV show
Wrexham.
about them.
Rob McElhenney.
Yeah.
McElhenney.
Which, if you haven't watched, it's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You should. It's a funny show.
Yeah, I was quite actually enjoying watching the match earlier, but it was somewhere in like North Wales or wherever Wrexham is. I don't know.
You should know.
I'll just show you a picture of them anyway. It really warmed my heart. And then I was thinking to myself, you know, who actually knows? Sorry, who actually knows who Ryan Reynolds even is? What's he famous for nowadays?
Deadpool.
Yeah, and I forgot about that. I forgot Deadpool.
He's
That's
in a lot
basically
of movies.
it, isn't it?
He was in a movie recently where he was a video game character.
Oh yeah.
Free Guy or something like that. People know who Ryan Reynolds is. The other guy, he's a little less famous, but certainly people know. Ryan Reynolds he's started that Netflix movie that was a big hit, The Red, whatever it is. Yeah, so you're wrong about Ryan Reynolds. People are very well aware of who he is. You're wrong. And Deadpool, the first 2 Deadpool movies are both very good films. They're not even superhero films. They're good films as comedies.
Yes. Well, there's a picture of them, by the way.
That's very nice. I haven't gotten around to watching the... Oh, there's some English show called Extraordinary People. Have you heard of this?
No.
The concept is that they live in a world where everybody has superpowers, but this one girl doesn't have superpowers. It's like trials and tribulations going through it. I don't know if you like it, but I was wondering, is that a big hit? The fact that it's being shown in the U.S. makes me think was it a big hit in the U.K.? Is that why they brought it? Because usually we only get the biggest of the hits from those kinds of things.
I just wanted to give a shout out to Derby Town Square's bakery called Biggins, and they've got some real nice buns for you this week, and cakes starting at only $2.99 for a full-size gâteau. So that's Sheila.
Great.
That's Sheila and Annie from the store.
I'd go there every morning.
That's how they normally dress at the shop, with their jugs just hanging out.
That's great. I think there's nothing wrong with that, and I give them credit for that.
Well, I don't know. I think it's a bit cheap to me, but you know.
Who is this girl, and why do you have a picture of her up?
That's Jodie Comer.
Comer? I don't know who that is.
Jodie Comer, for God's sake.
Still don't know who that is.
You don't know who Jodie Comer is?
I don't. Who is she? What was she in?
The Last Duel.
No, I haven't seen it.
The Northman. No, she's not in that.
There's not too many women in the Northman. There's 2 women with speaking roles, as far as I
think so. I know so. Get it.
Okay. All right, great.
All right, you can take down that. I know you like Ryan Gosling a lot now, so yeah, we'll be heading off now. I think that's it for Sunday's night's show. Thank you for anybody for watching, of course. Thank you,
Thanks,
Mandela
everybody.
Man and Voltaire.
Thank you, everybody, and everybody have a wonderful week, please. Okay. Or else.
Yeah. Thank
All
you,
right.
everybody.
Good
I
evening.
appreciate it. All the best. Lots of love. See you in the trees. I don't know about the Cam situation, Pimpin' X. Oh, you mean to do with Cameron? I thought you meant his Cameron. Thank you very much, Ashton, for all the comments and getting involved. Much appreciated. Thank you very much, Millie. All the best. Bye for now. Lots of love. See you in the trees.